And now, live from the Steele Twins recording studio in beautiful Traverse City, Michigan, and the Fraytown household in Taylor, Michigan, here are your hosts for this week's episode of the Outside Blitz, the fabulous Scotty Fraytown, the Bootleg Bettor, and the Cannonball Steele.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Outside Blitz. I am your host, the fabulous one, Scotty Fraytown, joined by, live from Traverse City, Michigan, and the Cannonball Steele. Alex, welcome back to the show.
Happy to be back, kids.
Yep, free agency frenzy. Round 2 is happening right now, the second round of free agency. Man, this is the exciting time of the offseason, right? All the free agents start happening. We're going to find out. It kind of creates a little bit of a dynamic for the NFL draft moving into April. And to my left, joining me, it's our resident Dr. Claw, the one, the only, who better to be than the Bootleg Bettor. Boots, welcome back to the show. Draft moving into April.
Down, said hit. I'm loud when I'm humble. I'm quiet when I brag. Yeah, I know you see, but you can't get into my bag. It ain't Fendi, it ain't Gucci, it ain't Louis, it's heavy duty. Plus your shoulders are too narrow, so it's too much for you to carry. You get retired faster than Barry, Sanders, Bonds, Wyndham. I'm killing demons every day. Tell a devil don't send them. I'm getting to your head like a acetaminophen. And you're always going to be a sore loser because you ain't fit to win. Let's go.
Let's go. The Bootleg Bettor in the house. Man, let me tell you, and I'll give you this for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. So the Bootleg Bettor in the house. We're having ourselves.
You know, the Grammy Awards missed me this year, but it's all good. I'm going to catch the American Music Awards, maybe the countries. Right?
The countries, really?
The CMAs. Holla.
Oh, damn. Well, welcome back to the show, folks. Free agency frenzy round 2 is here, and man, we had some news this week. We had a lot of guys, teams filling in holes and fixing parts of their rosters with some of these. I'm not going to say lesser free agents because I don't think that's really fair. But
speaking of free agents,
yeah,
there was 2 free agents that met on Monday, and I was shocked at the outcome.
Yeah,
happy and shocked at the outcome.
And that was
when Obafemi laid out Brock.
You were thrilled,
man. Obafemi, I've been watching this dude for the last 3 years in NXT, and he has been killing it.
He's awesome.
And dog, when he showed up on Raw and he put Brock Lesnar down with the fall from grace power bomb,
yeah,
and I'm ready for WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I just
it's WrestleMania season.
Yeah.
It is WrestleMania season. But folks, it's also sign pointing season.
Yeah,
WrestleMania. Yeah. Point at the side.
I've never seen anybody put their foot on Brock Lesnar's chest.
Never.
And point at the WrestleMania sign. Talk about a visual.
Yeah, that's something, isn't it? That's built for longevity.
Sir.
Connor Beal's in the house. Connor, good to see you here, man. We're excited to have you on board. Thanks for joining us. And fellas, we got to get to the elephant in the room. As far as the news and notes around the league, we got to jump into this one.
You mean the other one? Because last week's
talking about me.
Because last week's elephant in the room was the Max Crosby debacle. What do we got this week?
Well, this week, we've been talking a lot about the Miami Dolphins tearing it down to the studs, if you will, and we didn't think they could go any further. It was like, can these guys take it to a larger step and I mean, really tear it down? I mean, these guys are taking it down to a concrete slab at this point. The Dolphins have officially traded wide receiver Jalen Waddle and a 2026 4th-round pick, which is 111th overall, to the Denver Broncos for a 2026 1st-round pick, which is 30th overall, a 2026 3rd-round pick, which is 94th overall, and a 2026 4th-round pick, which is 130th overall. So they did move back in the 4th round, but they got a 3rd and a 1st out of the whole thing.
1st round for Jalen Waddle.
For Jalen Waddle, going to the Broncos.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Especially because Jalen Waddle he's missed multiple games in the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
So to be able to get a 1st rounder, that's really good.
I think a lot of it's based on age. I think Jalen Waddle has shown that as of right now, I mean, like, and granted, he was playing in Miami, right? As of right now, Jalen Waddle can by and far sort of be considered a wide receiver 2, or maybe a low end wide receiver 1. But
yeah, depending on the system.
Yeah, depending on the system and where he's at. And there's nothing wrong with that, but he was a former first-round pick, and you kind of expected more, but he was in, again, Miami. We talk about team and scheme, and that's a little problematic. And Connor, yeah, I saw you were at JCW last night. Congratulations, buddy. I appreciate you joining us, man. And it's cool. JCW is a great place to be. But yeah, as far as this trade goes, I think this is really good for the Broncos. This is the first time, however, that the Dolphins have actually gotten something for trading something or giving a player up. You know, they've been tearing this team down to the studs. I think it's a foregone conclusion at this point, just judging by how the Dolphins roster looks. They're going to be the number 1 pick next year. This is like, I mean, they're not even hiding the fact that they're tanking. This is a tank job.
This is not so much of a tank job as it is we need to rebuild, right? It's not a tank, it's a rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they've already got the quarterback when they signed Malik Willis, all right? Now we need to build around him. And instead of getting a couple of free agents, especially up for the offensive line, which they probably didn't have the money to do anyway, but now the plan is clear, right?
Right.
They've got the former Packers GM, the former Packers defensive coordinator, now the head coach, Jeff Hafley. I forget who the GM was, but who was in the GM office with the Packers and not with the Dolphins. And not important, but the fact is, you see their plan. Yeah. Right? We've got the guy at the quarterback spot. Now we just need to build everything else around him. And there's going to be Malik Willis might spend some time in a training in the ice bath,
in the
right?
blue tent there.
You know, in the ice bath at least. Yeah. Right. But when you look at in the upcoming seasons, if they do the right things, we could be talking about the Dolphins as a contender, depending on who they draft.
Yeah, their draft is going to be a big deal. I mean, obviously they have 2 first-round draft picks. They got 1 early, 1 late. I don't know.
2 offensive linemen.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, well, they do need a receiver. I will say, and it's a deep receiver class.
Class,
yeah.
Right? You can get 2 offensive linemen in the first round, and then fill out the rest from there.
Sure, and that's kind of what I think is going to go on here. I think it's going to be offensive linemen. It is a deep receiver class. It's a good tight end class too. You can find some legitimate studs in the day 2 and day 3 at the receiver and running back position. There's some guys out there that I think they're going to be looking at. Guys like Mike Washington Jr. Comes to mind.
I mean, they've got Achane and Gordon.
Yep.
So they don't have to necessarily touch the running back spot.
And they don't have to. I agree. You could see a guy like, I think Mekhi Lemon goes first round, but maybe a guy like Jacoby Lane, who had himself a really great combine. There's going to be some guys out there that they should be staring down.
It's awfully funny. You pick the 2 UFC
guys. But if you look, I mean,
he's still good though.
They both played extremely well or did extremely well at the NFL Combine. Both guys had great days, and obviously we talked about our boy from Texas Tech, Alex. You loved him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of options here. There's a lot of players that are available here. As far as the wide receiver position goes, and the tight end position, guys like Eli Stowers and Lake McCree are going to be out there.
Just dig into the bootleg B team and grab yourself Bryce Lance and grab yourself Bauer Sharp.
Yeah,
how about that?
That might be a possibility. There's going to be options.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we're at. This is going to be a huge draft. Of the Dolphins, they pour it down to the studs. Mm-hmm. It's going to be just a wild.
How many picks do they have in the first 4 rounds? I think I heard somewhere they have 5 picks in the first 4 rounds.
Yeah, I believe it's somewhere in there. I think they've got. I think they might have 5 in the top 100, if I'm not mistaken. They got 2 firsts for sure. Alex is going to check it out on the Google machine there and see how many picks they've got.
Yep. So if we take a look at obviously our fine friends at Tankathon are helping us out for the first round. Obviously they have number 11, and then they have they got that 30th pick from Denver. And if we dig in a little bit further, good.
I've got it right there. They got pick 43 in the second round, so they got 1 second round pick. And then they have picks 75, 87, and 90. So we're talking 6 picks in the top 100 in the first 3 rounds. So they got some choices here. They got some options. And I believe because of the loss of Tua Tagovailoa, with them letting him go, they got a compensation pick for him, if I'm not mistaken. That right. I think that's what they got.
Yep, they also have pick 130. So, so 6 picks in the top 100 and then a 7th, in the first 150. So, they have options, and for a guy that was he was picked number 6 overall in 2021. Jalen Waddle was. So for the picks that they got for him, they're setting themselves up for success. Here's the big question that I ask every single time something like this happens. Are they smart enough? And, new GM, new quarterback, new head coach, new everything. Yeah, time will tell. It's like, you took a wrecking ball to the building and you're just building it back up, from the ground up.
Yeah, I don't think that there's a possibility that they go at, even though they do need a tight end. That's something that they are going to need. They need basically skill position players here and targets for Malik Willis at this point. I mean, you have Tutu Atwell, and that's about it. They did, however, if I'm not mistaken, go out and sign Jalen Tolbert to a 1-year deal. So they did do that. Dolphins made a few other signings. They did sign punter Bradley Pinion to a 1-year deal. So they do get a punter in the door, which
trying to pin him deep.
Yeah, maybe it's going to be relying on a non-existent defense because their defense has been awful for a while there. That is a very good one. I appreciate that.
That on a poster.
The Dolphins, they did sign Tutu Atwell to the 1-year, $1.4 million deal, and they got Jalen Tolbert also to a $1.4 million deal.
Tolbert ain't bad.
Tolbert's not bad. He's a low end 2, high end 3 kind of guy. Yeah. And then they did sign tight end Ben Sims to a 1-year, $1.3 million deal. So they get him as a blocking tight end is Ben Sims. So they go and get him. They sign offensive tackle Charlie Heck to a 1-year deal. What
the heck?
That ain't, he's okay.
Yeah. And then they go out, and this was the kind of the big signing, and I the one I really liked as long as he can stay healthy. They go out and sign linebacker and edge rusher David Ojabo to a 1-year, $1.4 million deal.
Man, imagine if it had worked out in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
If he hadn't gotten injured that prior year at Michigan. Baltimore was really smart in draft. They didn't need to draft him, but they drafted him anyway and gave him that year to rehab and, get that knee right. And it just didn't work out. And if he hadn't gotten injured, it feels like one of those cases, the what if.
Yeah, it was one of those very unfortunate, because if you recall, it was during his pro day.
Yeah,
it was and everybody, he had been so hyped up, especially at the combine. He had such a good combine performance, and everybody, oh man, look at that David Ojabo, he's incredible. Then his pro day rolled around, and it's like, oh, he tore his ACL at his pro day. Man. Holy shit. So very, very well, actually, no, he didn't have a combine. That's right, because it was the COVID year. So they just got hurt at his pro day, but everybody had been hyping him up. I forget what, but he had been hyped up as a first-round guy. Some said he was too raw. I wasn't entirely sold on him. And then, the ACL, and it was like, well, he's done. He slid to 3rd round, if I'm not mistaken.
He was a great pass rusher.
Yeah.
Great effort, all-effort pass rusher. Needed to develop a few more moves, but he was really good off the edge.
Yes.
And across from Aiden Hutchinson, I believe, he was really doing some damage, man. And I thought that Baltimore had a steal when they drafted him. Just get healthy, right? And we'll see you next season. But it just never panned out.
Yeah, never worked out for him.
And I think it was vastly due to the injury.
Yeah, and then they drafted Odafe Owe not too long after the fact. And Owe sort of took over, and now you see Owe's out the door. He's playing elsewhere. So, I mean, and he got a big money contract, if you remember, $100 million, if I'm not mistaken. So he gets that. A little more movement around the league. Let's talk about the Jets. They go out and trade quarterback Justin Fields to the Chiefs for a 2027 6th-round pick. Justin Fields to the Chiefs kind of seems like, I mean, obviously he's a backup to Patrick Mahomes, who wouldn't be, but at the same time, is this a setting off an alarm to you about Patrick Mahomes' rehab here with the ACL? I mean, do you think he's going to be ready for week 1 like he says he's going to be?
I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. What you have in Justin Fields, at the very least, you have a competent veteran who knows the NFL game, and you don't have to worry about, does he know this? Can we do that? Can we do this? This type of offense, this type of system for Justin Fields, it feels like the final reset.
Yeah.
Because this will be the best coaching staff and the best quarterback-friendly staff that he will have worked with, played under.
Yes.
So this right here, right now, will be excellent for Field if he can get it all together. And it'll be good for the Chiefs, too, because at the very least, they've got the backup, like I was just saying. They have a competent NFL veteran, young veteran backup who can carry you through if you need him to. And, again, I said it the offseason, all at the end of the season, and I'm going to keep saying it. I would not play Patrick Mahomes second at all next season.
Let him rehab.
You get complete gap year.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just wouldn't do it. That's just me. So let Fields start, and whoever you may bring in, maybe they could have brought in Kirk Cousins. That price tag would have been way too much.
Yeah.
But you've got somebody, especially with Fields' athletic, the mobility, you think about the run game with Eric Bieniemy, going to be utilizing the quarterback in the run game as well.
And I think Bieniemy likes Justin Fields and his skill set a lot. And Justin Fields obviously very mobile. He's got a good arm. It's not that he's got a bad arm. It's
decision making is his big issue.
That's the big problem. And to me, if you can't be successful in this system,
right,
with Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy,
right,
there's a problem, because we've seen guys that were career backups when Mahomes went down, when he dislocated that knee years ago, come in and win 4 games.
Yeah.
So it's like, here we go. Elsewhere,
I always say you're only as good as your backup quarterback.
Right. Also with the Jets, they re-signed running back and kick returner Kenny Nwangwu to a 1-year, $2 million deal, the former Minnesota Viking. Nwangwu he's been around the league for a while. He's really just a kick returner for the most part, but he got hyped as a running back. Everybody thought he was going to be the speedster running back and he just hasn't turned into that. He's been a kick return, punt return specialist. That's kind of where he's at. So the Jets get him re-signed to a deal. As for the Chiefs, here's an interesting one. They go out and sign running back Emery DeMarcado, the former Cardinal, to a 1-year, $1.25 million deal. So they go out and get him wrapped up in round 2 of free agency here. I didn't even realize DeMarcado was a free agent after last season, but yeah, he was a free agent, and they get him on a dime here.
Yeah, why wouldn't he be?
Yeah.
I think he fell out of favor with the coaching in Arizona, and the new coaching staff weren't going to bring him back.
Yeah, the dropped
surefire touchdown.
Yeah, the surefire touchdown, running in and then dropping the ball as he was walking into the end zone, turning into a fumble, bumped into the back of the end zone. I mean, just a whole big mess.
He never lived it down.
No, he didn't. One guy that did stay in favor with the Cardinals, however, and we'll talk about this guy, running back Bam Knight. He gets signed to a brand new 1-year deal with the Cardinals, so he'll be sticking around with the team in 2026. He showed up actually for the Cardinals pretty well at the end of the season.
He did, because again, DeMarcado couldn't be counted upon.
Yeah,
but you've got Trey Benson, you've got
still James Conner,
Zonovan Knight, James Conner. Still, I thought he was a free agent. But regardless of that,
I believe
you got the guy they just brought in. Alex, help me.
Tyler Algier.
Yeah, I knew I had it right there.
Yeah.
So they brought them all in. So you've got a pretty decent running back room.
Yeah, I like that. Alex, Trey Benson, we've been hyped up about him. Do you think that Trey Benson, last year he came in as soon as James Conner went down, and for whatever reason, Trey Benson just didn't pop off the way that we all had kind of expected him to. New coach here, he's former offensive coordinator from the Rams here. Do you think that we see a bounce back performance from Trey Benson? Do you think Tyler Algier takes over? with this running back room, who's going to be the star coming out of this group here? I mean, it's sort of a considered by and far a lackluster group, but if I was a betting man, I'd say Algier. What say you?
Well, Algier clearly has the more experience. You know, he's been, the more prolific of the two running backs in Atlanta. I mean, obviously Bijan's a star. We all know that. But, Tyler Algier is more experienced, and his stats are higher than Trey Benson's. I don't know. I can't say. And the way I look at it is I've always been, I believe it when I'll see it. And if we take a look at them like side by side, Tyler Algier, he's had, more years, and he only had 1,000-yard season. That was his rookie year in 22. Trey Benson, he hasn't had that many carries. He's only had 92 carries in the 2 years he's been with the Cardinals. And,
somebody dropped some change.
Yeah, and Tyler Algier, has, he's consistently had anywhere between 150 and 200 carries a year. So, he's had a lot more work. So, I would say put, Tyler Algier's your RB1 and Trey Benson's your RB2. But at the same time, we need numbers to really get a good story here. And Trey Benson just doesn't have them. He's only been in the league for 2 years. That's not to say he's not good, but at the same time,
it's sitting behind James Conner.
Right, he's been sitting behind
James Conner.
Right.
That's it. I mean, and at the end of the day, and I'm with you. I agree. As far as Trey Benson goes, 24K Lion Dan 1985. Hope you guys miss you guys. It's Dan. Hey Dan, how's it going, buddy? Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for the follow. But at the end of the day, I'm with you. Trey Benson hasn't gotten enough work. He just didn't. And then he got hurt last year. In the middle of the year. I mean, right after he took over, he got hurt. It was just a rough go.
Here's the thing, though.
I think it's going to be a battle between Algier and Benson. I think they're going to start Algier, though.
I think he's going to be the starter. Absolutely.
Yeah.
1,000%. They don't pay that kind of money to bring a guy in to have him sit the bench. And if Trey Benson, although I really loved him coming out of Florida State.
To be fair, they're only paying Algier $2.1 million.
Hey.
They got him on a dime.
Hey. It's more than what they paying Trey Benson.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I'm saying? And so what I see is a guy who's going to keep Benson on the bench.
Yeah.
Because Tyler Algier is very good. Not to say that Benson isn't, because he was. But Benson wasn't good enough to keep James Conner on the bench. He wasn't put enough. He wasn't good enough to James Conner on the bench. Yep. And he wasn't good enough to keep somebody else from taking his spot.
I think a lot of this was team and scheme too for Benson. I don't think he was a fit for what they were doing there in Arizona. I don't think it's I think it's a situation where Benson doesn't fit with what they're doing. And I think Benson needs that change of scenery. If there was teams out there right now looking for a good running back, deal for Trey Benson. I'd go after him in a heartbeat because I do think he could be a successful running back in this league. I think this is a team and scheme problem.
Well, the biggest thing is to get Benson out of the governor's mansion.
Yeah.
And into a better situation.
Yeah, I agree. That's what they need to do. Unbelievable.
You are over 40. You know what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about. I'm not even over 40, but it's unreal. Next up with the Cardinals, they signed.
Shout out Robert Guillaume.
Oh,
I don't know if he did or not. If he is, rest in peace. But if not, shout out Robert Guillaume.
Yeah. Cardinals also signed wide receiver kick returner Devin Duvernay to a 1-year deal. So they get themselves a nice kick returner there. Duvernay, the former Baltimore Raven, he winds up with the Cardinals. He's been floating around the league a little bit here as Duvernay.
He's becoming a young journeyman.
Yes, that's what he's turned into, is a journeyman kick returner. They also signed, and this is a nice signing here, defensive tackle Andrew Billings to a 1-year deal. Billings, another guy who's been something of a journeyman. They get him on the cheap. Defensive tackle here. He's actually a good defensive tackle. They just, it's again team and scheme. And the Cardinals, they're like, hey, we need somebody up the middle. Walter Nolan keeps getting hurt. Need someone to accompany him in the middle, a veteran presence. And Billings is that guy. They also signed linebacker Jack Gibbons to a 2-year, $7.5 million deal. not a bad signing there. Again, veteran guy, got to get him in the door, get a little leadership there. I like what they're doing there, and they get him on the cheap, $7.5 million over 2, so you're talking 3.25 per year. And then they signed safety Andrew Wingard, to a 1 year, $3 million deal, $1.85 million guaranteed. Wingard's been around the league for a while too. Another journeyman guy, safety, get him in the door, a little bit of a veteran presence, might be more of a depth move. But if he does have to come in, let's say he's alongside Budda Baker, I'm not mad at it.
No, it's not horrible.
Yeah. It's not a bad signing. Just filling in the holes in that team here. And
they may be drafting a safety. It's a pretty good safety class.
It is a very good safety class, actually. I mean, a really good, like looking at we're going to be talking about safeties in a couple weeks here. And it's a really good safety class. Around the division there in the NFC West, the Seahawks yesterday, they went and exercised the 5th-year options on both wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba and corner Devin Witherspoon. So both those guys, 2 of the best at their position.
Yes.
Brilliant move. Exercise the 5th year. The big deals are coming, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. These are franchise players at their particular position, and now it's not now they know that. They've known that.
Yeah.
They just had to make the moves to be able to solidify that they're going to be keeping them on the team. That's why you see Kenneth Walker III going out the door, and the other Kobe Bryant.
Yeah,
they let him go. So because they had Enem Wari.
Eminwari. There you go. Nick Eminwari.
That's the story.
Yeah.
Eminwari. Because they have those guys. That's why they're able to, make these deals.
Yeah. It
helps when you already got a Super Bowl. So now the fan base won't be impatient.
Yeah.
Right. And now they can make moves on the side.
Yeah.
And do it quietly.
Yep.
And then, compete again down the line.
Yeah. 5-year, they get 5 years, basically, is what it is. You have a 5-year window when you win one.
Depends on the city.
Yeah.
But you get 5, 7, or 10 years.
Yeah.
Depending on the city. Right?
And then they get impatient.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, where's my wins? The Seattle did lose. Did have somebody go out the door here. So they placed a restricted free agent tender on wide receiver Jake Bobo. The Jags went out and signed Bobo to an offer sheet. The Seahawks will have till March 25th to match it, or he's headed to Jacksonville. So
I like Bobo.
I like Jake Bobo. I think he stepped in pretty admirably at certain times. There were occasions where he had to step in as a number 1 receiver and did it pretty well.
Yeah, he's an underrated vertical threat.
Yes.
Out of UCLA, man. Really good wingspan.
Yep.
Really good at the catch point. I like the competitiveness. The route running is so-so, but the fact is he catches the ball, he gets open, catches the football, and he's an underrated downfield vertical threat.
Yep. And they also signed running back George Halani to his exclusive free agent rights tender. It keeps him with the team through 2026. So George Halani, their RB3 technically, is going to be back. But actually, as of right now, given how that running back room looks, he's probably the RB2, but we don't really know who's going to be starting. We don't know if Charbonnet, and I doubt Charbonnet is going to be ready to start the year.
Oh, gosh, no.
Torn ACL in the AFC title or the NFC title game.
Wouldn't think.
Yeah, it's just like, well, actually, I think it was the divisional round. It was late in the year.
Unless he's a medical marvel.
Yeah.
Like Alonzo Barnett III out there playing in college. He tore his ACL and was ready to go literally like 7 months later. It was weird, and he played the entire season.
It's perfectly fine.
At James Madison, they, the coaching staff, they alternated quarterbacks early in the season, but when Barnett proved that he was 100% healthy and ready to go, they kept him at the starting spot, and he had a really good season.
Yeah.
He transferred this year, but the fact is, sometimes those things happen. It's not always the same for every player. Everyone is built differently.
Yes.
Right? Their bodies are built differently. We don't know how many problems they may have had before.
They're not all Adrian Petersons. They're not all Adrian Peterson 2,000 yards after a torn ACL type of guys. Right. It's not all that.
That's not who you are.
Yeah, it's just not that. But elsewhere around that division, the 49ers, they go out and sign wide receiver Christian Kirk to a 1-year, $6 million deal. I actually love this signing for the 49ers.
Really
they needed it. Alex, you're a big Christian Kirk guy. I know you were when he played for the Texans. And really we saw I mean, really good play from him when he was with the Jacksonville Jaguars. You hyped about this signing with the 49ers? You think it's a good fit?
It is a good fit. You know, it's a move designed to get a decent utility wide receiver at a you know, I don't want to say, yes, I'll say cheap price, because you are getting him on the cheap, but what you're getting, a quality player that can step up when you need to, when your big heavy hitters aren't out there, or when your big heavy hitters are getting covered by the higher end DBs. You know, yeah, Christian Kirk did surprise us in fantasy a little bit. You know, that's where that started. You know, he just pops off the stat sheet one week, and then sometimes he just goes and takes a nap. But he is a you know, a bit of a journeyman here in the league. You know, he's gonna come around a little bit now that he's with the 49ers and he gets to work with Brock Purdy and let's see if Trent Williams comes back. I mean, if Trent Williams comes back, he's got a decent shot. But you know, this is a good positive move for the 49ers. You know, to prepare to reload and get ready for the next year. You know, I like this signing.
It's a good compliment to Mike Evans.
Yes.
Really, I think Kirk's got a lot of good speed to him. The route running has come a long way since his time in Arizona.
Excellent.
Yep. And
excellent in the seam, excellent in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
And he will draw. He can get away from nickel corners.
Yes, he can. One thing about Kirk, and it was when he was in Arizona, something of a vertical threat guy. He was viewed as something of a one-trick pony because of the speed. And then you saw the route running really develop, especially when he was in Jacksonville and he had that huge breakout year. Yeah. And you know, we all kind of laughed when Jacksonville signed him to that massive contract. We're like, man, is he worth all that? And he proved it. Yeah, he proved it.
And if he hadn't gotten injured, he would have proven more.
Yeah, it was just wild. And he did a really great job with Houston last year, stepping in when at times when Nico Collins was down, he stepped in as the wide receiver one, did a great job. I like Christian Kirk. I think he's a good receiver. I think this is a good signing. And like you said, Alex, it's on the cheap. One year for $6 million. $6 million for Christian Kirk is cheap. That is cheap.
Because he already got all this money from Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's it.
Right?
Yep.
But look at this, though. When you speak about Christian Kirk playing at Houston last season, now look at the receiver room in Houston.
Yeah, I know.
Nico Collins on one side. Jaden Higgins on the other side. You got two big boundary X type receivers, right? If you want to throw Xavier Hutchinson in as another one, there's him. But there's also Jalen Noel.
And also
playing in the slot.
The returning Tank Dell is going to be coming back.
There you go.
Well, that's
right? Yeah, that's big news right there.
That's huge. We hope he's as good as he was. But if not, look, you still again, Nico Collins. Jaden Higgins, who had up and down, but you saw the progression. And Jalen Noel, he made plays throughout the season here and there. But you saw, again, the progression. So C.J. Stroud, I know we weren't talking about the Texans, but it just brought to my head, to my mind, look at those receivers that C.J. Stroud has.
Yeah.
The running back that just come over, David Montgomery.
Yep.
Right? And now,
having Woody Marks over there, too.
Right? And another year with the offensive line to gel and, you know, and have more chemistry, you might be, we're looking at Houston probably winning that division.
Well, and it's funny you say something about the offensive line because the Texans went out and signed offensive guard Wyatt Teller.
See what I mean?
To a 2-year deal worth a base of $16 million and up to $23 million with incentives. Wyatt Teller, man, he comes over there. He's a good guard. And they needed to revamp that offensive line a little bit. They go out and get a solid guard to come in at a pretty good price, actually, for $16 million. That's actually a pretty good price for an interior offensive lineman, especially one he's again something of a journeyman, but he's very experienced and he's very good at what he does. Good run blocker. Here we go.
Yeah, it's like good. It's like second tier value.
Yeah, and you know he gets kind of wrapped up in that second group of free agency, and I think this is a good signing. He's going to fit well over there with the Texans. And it takes one thing off the table that they had to go and sign.
Yeah. It's like if you can't get a Snickers, well, this Kit Kat ain't bad.
Yeah. I'll take a Twix.
Right.
You know, that's it. Elsewhere around that division, the Colts, they go out and sign, and this is a signing I liked, corner Cam Taylor-Britt to a 1-year deal.
Man, Cam Taylor-Britt out of Nebraska, one of my favorite corners in the league, because dude just he just plays, man.
Yeah.
He is solid. He is always around the football. He is always making plays. He's one of those guys that you have to account for. He's not the stat stuffer or whatever, but he always seems to make a play.
Yeah, he does. And the Colts made a series of underrated signings, for very cheap deals, by the way. I mean, First of all, wide receiver Nick Westbrook-Akini, 1-year deal. I mean, just like they pay him, basically almost, league minimum.
He was in Tennessee.
He was in Tennessee
for some years.
Yep, went to Miami.
And again, back to this interdivisional species.
Yeah. Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah.
That's just that sounds very incestual. Put it like that.
Species.
Insane.
Do I hear banjos in the background?
Yeah. Also, the Colts, this is another one I liked. Safety Jonathan Owens, 1-year, $1.4 million deal. I mean, that's a good safety signing, especially for $1.4 million. That's it. I mean,
and Luana Ramos' ability to really utilize the safety within the defense.
Yep. And then they signed linebacker Akeem Davis-Gaither to a 1-year deal on top of it, so that they get some veteran guys that are good players that fit the scheme. This is just like, they're going to make, and these are good players, and they're like, it's so cheap and it's not killing their cap at all. And then they get Daniel Jones on that expensive deal, which, I mean, really they saved money on that too. I mean, because Daniel Jones was asking $50 million, they got him for 44. So they got him for $6 million cheaper than what he was asking on a yearly basis. I mean, the Colts are making it work here, and they're getting some of these journeyman guys in the door, and it's working out. And I like how that looks, this Cam Taylor-Britt move, the Owens move. I mean, all these guys can play, and all these guys can start any given week and be successful. I actually liked all of those signings from the Colts. Another team making some moves here. We got the Atlanta Falcons making some moves. Yeah, defensive tackle Deshaun Hand. They get him on a 1-year, $3 million deal.
And Deshaun Hand, just keep getting them checks, brother.
Yeah.
As Jayla Rose was saying.
He's been around forever.
Yes. a young veteran journeyman.
Yeah. Another one, defensive end Samson Ebukam gets a 1-year, $2.765 million deal. So they get a good defensive end there for cheap. Another guy on the cheap, solid defensive end. But my favorite one of their signings so far, defensive end Azeez Ojulari gets a 1-year, $1.4 million deal.
That's a pretty good deal. And you're probably looking at the reason why they're doing these things is because of the James Pierce situation.
Yes.
Right? So they brought in 2 DNs, right? Because now we need depth, because we may not have James Pierce for some portion of the season. You have to think about that.
They're probably not going to have him for a majority of, I would assume. I mean, given how bad that whole thing was and how bad that whole thing looked, running from the police and all that other craziness, I mean, whew, he's probably not going to be there.
Well, he did run a 4.5. He's got running away from the.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Shout out Gus Johnson.
If ever a phrase uttered had ever matched any player in the history.
There it is, running away from the cop speed. Elsewhere around that division, let's talk about the Panthers. They go out and sign safety Nick Scott to a 1-year, $3.25 million deal. Actually, that's a deal I like. Believe it or not, Nick, it's not bad.
Yeah,
for 3.2. I mean, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, Scott's pretty good. He's okay.
Yep, they get A.J. Dillon, the running back, a former Packer, on a 1-year deal, so they get him. The Panthers do.
I got to say this. I'm sorry.
You don't like this?
A.J. Dillon did not work out. When you think about what he was doing with Boston College, just pushing the pile, pounding the pile, and just gaining yards, and just those tough yards. And you thought, because I thought, the Green Bay Packers thought, we all thought, you put this dude on the goal line with what they call them with the quads and I don't know
Yeah,
what they
Godzilla.
quads or whatever. You know, the low center of gravity, the push at the goal line. You marry that with Aaron Jones, right, in Green Bay, brother. He wasn't pushing the pile.
No.
But when you gave the ball to Aaron Jones at the goal line, it was touchdown damn near every time. And it didn't work with that or work like that with A.J. Dillon. Then he suffered the neck injury. But A.J. Dillon wasn't the guy. He wasn't the RB1 a lot of us thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
Right? When they drafted him, because it was almost like, okay, Aaron Jones will be here for a year or two, and then we'll hand it over to A.J. Dillon.
Yep.
Right? And I think we all did, like the Packers found out, well, Aaron Jones is the better back.
Yeah.
And A.J. Dillon isn't as good as we thought he was going to be at doing what we needed him to do, which is push the pile at the goal line.
Yeah, and Dillon it was weird. He became like this change of pace type of running back, just catch the ball out of the backfield thing. And I mean, he was fine at it. I mean, it wasn't like I was mad at it, but it just, he wasn't it.
No.
I say
No.
And I think over with the Panthers, with what they're doing, he's not going to be it.
No, it'll be Chuba Hubbard's gig.
Yeah, but it's going to be throwing the ball to A.J. Dillon out of the backfield. I think he's going to see the same role with the Packers, and they got him on the cheap, so I guess it's not really too, upsetting for the Panthers. But that's where I think he's going.
I think he should have been a better goal line back.
Yes, he should have been. The Panthers also go out and Alex, here's a guy you're pretty familiar with, and so is our good friend of the show, Ray. The Panthers also signed punter Sam Martin to a 2-year, $5 million deal. The former Detroit Lion, the former Buffalo Bill. Now he's with the Carolina Panthers, and this is a good price, $2.5 million for one of the best punters in football. Alex, what say you?
Well, for a guy that can pin him deep, this is a great deal. They're kind of the unsung heroes, special teams, kickers and punters. I mean, kickers have a different, sort of echelon in fantasy because sometimes the game hinges on that guy's foot. But but what's the punter's job? If your team can't get a field goal, what's your punter supposed to do? Get him inside the 5. See if you can get him to the 1. But yeah, Sam Martin. Yeah, like you said, former Detroit Lion. One of my guys, and he was very good when he was with Detroit. So smart move by Carolina to secure that man.
Yeah, especially on a cheap. I mean, this is a good punter. This is a good punter, and I mean, he's one of the better punters in the league. I was very surprised that Buffalo let him walk, but Buffalo, I don't understand it. Buffalo has a tendency to just let good punters go out the door. I mean, if you recall, the last time they did this, and the reason they wound up with Martin is because Matt Areza's situation happened. They let Matt Areza go out the door. Matt Areza right now is with the Chiefs, and you saw what he's been doing with the Chiefs is he's just a tear it down, big leg punter. I mean, he can pin anyone anywhere. It's like a golf swing.
See, and also, inside the 20, just so that we're clear here, average percentage of inside the 20 is 38.7. So almost 40% of his punts got inside the 20.
Jesus.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. It's very accurate.
Yeah, he's a very good punter. Also, a guy that Boots and I loved coming in when he got drafted, wide receiver John Mechie goes to a 1-year, $1.9 million deal to the Panthers. I actually really like this signing.
John Mechie III, beautiful route running on the inside, can run away from a defender, especially in the open field. And if Bryce Young can see him, can find him down the field, you have a terrific deep threat within the confines of the middle of the field and not on the boundary. But I love John Mechie III. Love his game. Love his story and how he's come back from what he's had to overcome. So he'll always have a spot.
Yeah, and cancer and all kinds of stuff. But he was really great when he was in college. Good route runner, good hands. I mean, and we're just waiting for the team that unlocks him because I feel like there's a time where John Mechie is going to get unlocked. Yeah, and it wasn't with Houston. It wasn't with Philly. Maybe it will be with the Panthers.
It definitely wasn't with the Jets last season.
No, sir, it wasn't.
No, not the team for him. But you put him on this team with Tataroa McMillan on the outside.
Was Young his quarterback or was it Tua in college?
Well, that's a good question.
I don't think it was Young.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Young.
Yeah, I was going to say, but both those guys coming from the same school.
Yeah.
There might be a connection there. It might be a little love going on there.
Yeah, John Mechie got picked up in the 2022 draft, pick number 44 overall in the second round. So coming out of the 22 season. That'd be a great question to confirm, but to your point, it sounds like Tua was his quarterback and not Bryce, but we digress.
Yeah. Also, his former team making some moves.
It may have been a little bit of rollover.
Yeah, there might have
been a year rollover. Now that I'm thinking about it, because
Tua got hurt.
Because Bryce Young, he's been in the league 2 years now or 3.
I think it's been 3.
It's 3 years for Bryce. So 22, 20, and there may have been some.
They may have crossed paths.
Bryce got drafted in 23, and this is going to be year number 4 in this 26 season. Okay. So
so there could have been a year scout team. It could have been a scout team year where they played together.
Yeah, there's got to be some sort of connection there. I think there. And really, if you think about it, though, I think Mechie is a really nice over the middle type of guy. Yeah, really nice target for Bryce. And you got Leggett over there, you got McMillan over there. I actually like this little group here, a group of relatively young receivers here.
And the guy who's popping more than Xavier Leggett is Jalen Coker.
Yes, Coker as well.
Coker's the guy on the other side of McMillan that Bryce Young really likes to throw to and is actually better than Xavier Leggett. And he's shown that through the game. So Leggett, he's got to step this game up.
Yeah, Coker's been nice in the red zone.
Yes, he has.
He's making plays with his legs and whatever the case. As for
Holy Cross. Division 3, baby.
Unreal. Division 3.
Let's go.
But Mechie's former team, the Eagles, they go out and make a lot of moves. First of all, they go out and trade safety Sidney Brown to the Falcons for a 4th and 6th round pick swap. So they
mother of Chase Brown.
Yes. So Sidney Brown, who they picked up in the 3rd round, if I'm not mistaken, a few years back, he winds up, and all it was a pick swap. So the Eagles move up in both the 4th and 6th round for this year's draft. So
wait a minute. So now the Eagles have gotten rid of Blankenship at the safety spot. Now they've gotten rid of
Sidney
Brown at the safety spot. They still have Andrew Makuba. Love Andrew Makuba, but he was hurt a bit last year.
But they go out and they sign safety Marcus Epps to
and that's deal. Why
Yeah, so
and they might be going safety in the draft. But okay, they signed Epps.
Yep, they get Epps, and they also signed JT Gray to a 1-year deal. So they get some depth at the safety position. So that's what's going on. The Eagles also execute a trade, 2027 7th round pick to the Panthers in exchange for quarterback Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle, heading to the Eagles. So they get a little bit of QB depth there.
Well, it's all Bryce's gig now.
Yeah.
There's no cushion for mistakes anymore.
Yeah.
Because Andy Dalton, they brought him in, benched Bryce Young, what was the last season? Or a season before, benched him for a few games
before.
Yeah, and then so hey, have it back, watch for a little bit from the sidelines, and and it worked out.
Yeah, it did.
So now there's no the bumpers are down now.
Yep, and then the Eagles we may have talked about this one last week. So they did sign corner Tariq Woolen to a 1-year, $12 million deal worth up to $15 million in incentives. So they get Tariq Woolen in the door.
It's still a really good second.
I love that signing. Even like if you look at all 3 of those corners now, like Woolen, DeJean, and Quinyon Mitchell, it's like holy crap! Like what are we
gonna throw to?
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
But then they also made some interesting moves on the offensive side of the ball. They signed. We thought he was out the door. He's back. Tight end Dallas Goedert, 1-year, $7 million extension, so he'll be back for the 2026 season. Alex, I know you're a big Dallas Goedert guy.
He doesn't make me jump for joy, but I do say that it's a smart signing by the Eagles to retain him for 1 more year. He's definitely one of the most productive tight ends, in football. Certainly a force to be reckoned with in fantasy. I know that he kind of I think he might have cost me a couple of wins here and there over the years, but Yeah, I mean, it's if you want to keep something going on, because on the one hand, maybe it's time to start thinking about drafting a tight end, but
Yeah.
because Dallas Goedert, he's been in this. This is going to be his. Okay, I'm looking to see what season he was drafted in 2018. So
yeah, I think we're talking about year 8 or 9 here for him. It's been a minute.
He's getting up there.
He's in his 30s at this point, and
He's
that's
31. He's 31 years old. So
yep.
Yeah.
we're on the back nine. We're on the back nine, as if you will, and that's the big thing about Goddard. We talk about that. Boots, Dallas Goedert. Do you think the Eagles go tight end in the draft, or to replace Goddard, or do you think they're gonna, go one more year with him and then next year go after a tight end? I think they should this year. I mean, it's a good tight end class.
It is a good tight end class. They've got more of a receiver tight end. They still have Calcaterra.
Yep.
And so I think they're going to be a little more concerned with the offensive line and getting depth at the receiver spot.
Yep.
Because I don't see how long A.J. Brown stays in Philly.
Yeah.
And so that leads me to say that they can wait on tight end if they really want to. They can wait on it.
Yeah.
And
that's the big question. Like, are they going to wait on the the tight end position? Like, what exactly are they going to do here?
I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up. So, we're keeping a close eye on our good friend. Well, we'll say good friend Justin Joly. So last episode, we did a kind of a deep dive on him. Very impressed with his combine, and we've been in contact, off and on with his father Rob. So. He's having his pro days. He's having meetings with the teams, and the Eagles are one of those teams. So don't be surprised if you see like the 3rd or 4th round, and we hear Justin Joly's name on that stage. I will personally jump out of my seat, and I'm sure we'll get texts from him, or I'll just text him myself. But yeah, you know what? I mean, if you're looking to get, if you're gonna go in the draft and get a tight end, I mean. Hello, he's right there, and he's talking to the Eagles.
Goddard's a big pass-catching tight end, and Joly fits the role. He's got great hands. To me, Justin Joly, after what we saw at the Combine, I don't understand why he wouldn't be a day 2 guy. I don't understand why he wouldn't be 2nd or 3rd round. I know tight end's not, usually a premier position, especially 1st round. It's not considered a premium position, as they call it. But, I could see Joly being a great fit for the Eagles. I could see him being a great fit for the Chiefs. I think both those teams should be considering him. And man, he's got. You want to talk a good pass catcher? Justin Joly out of NC State is legit. I mean, that guy. I mean, it's like magnets for hands. It's insane. Like if I didn't know any better, I'd say I'd stick him on his hands. He's a good route runner. He's got great hands. He catches everything. He tracks the ball.
Don't start no scandal.
No, I say but it's not there. It's not actually there, but I mean, the guy, he's pretty incredible, man. I like Justin Joly a lot. I think he's a solid. I mean, if you want to talk a day 2 guy going to the Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, that's a no-brainer to me, especially with Goddard going out the door. You want a Dallas Goedert replacement? There's a guy there. You want a Travis Kelce replacement? There's a guy there, and he can run routes so well. So you've been big on Justin Joly. We're going to be watching Joly out here and seeing what he does. But I like you said, I think he'll be a great replacement. As for Goddard, I think it's good for the Eagles to keep him around, keep the veteran, keep a little bit of continuity, I guess, with the offense. Another guy that they brought in that I thought was kind of interesting, Eagles signed wide receiver Marquise Hollywood Brown to a 1-year, $6.5 million deal.
The cousin of A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I am iffy on old Hollywood. I've been iffy on Hollywood. He had a case of the drop skis throughout his career, as Alex says. We've taken at certain points to calling him Marquise Butterfingers Brown. As opposed to Hollywood Brown. Boots, where are you on this signing?
He had some trouble with the Ravens, but since he got signed by the Chiefs, I think he cleaned up his hands a little bit. but I mean, it's still.
With the Cardinals, I mean, too, it was like Cardinals and then a little rough with the Chiefs. I mean, there were moments he had flashes, but then we have the, moments where it's like, where did Hollywood Brown go?
Yeah.
Boots, where are you at on Hollywood Brown?
Hollywood Brown, he would fit in this offense because he can be hidden. He doesn't have to draw the double coverage that an A.J. Brown might have to draw. He doesn't have to contend with the other side, with the other defender, where Devontae Smith, who is a quiet one, right? As Mr. Hunt would say, he is a wide receiver one playing as a wide receiver two because of the team, the scheme, and the fact that they have the boundary X guy, A.J. Brown, on the other side. But Devontae Smith is just as good at killing corners in these zones and in a one-on-one matchup and catching at the catch point and blazing downfield. Devontae Smith is really, really good. People don't understand. I had my doubts because of the slightness. Yeah. Right. But you can't. But how does it go? As Mr. Hunt would say, you can't hit, but you can't catch, and you can't hurt, but you can't tackle. Yeah. Right. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So that's so that's kind of where Devontae Smith lines up. But if you put Marquise Hollywood Brown in that mix, now he can be hidden. He doesn't have to draw the double cover. He doesn't have to contend with the other side. He can work the middle of the field, which is what he's best at. Work the middle of the field and the outside, not to the inside, but middle to the outside, right? Utilize that. Don't get him hurt like they did in Kansas City, having them running the inside routes. Yeah. Have him run inside to the outside, right? Post to the break, to the outbreak. Yeah, don't have him catching hospital balls out there over the middle. Yeah, exactly. Not the middle. You put him on, work him to the outside. He'll be very effective. Yeah, and that's a big thing for him. He's got a little fragile. Got to avoid the contact a little bit more than normal. But Hollywood Brown, he could be a good fit here. I don't think he's obviously going to be a replacement for A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is being shopped for, with the New England Patriots. We don't know, what's going to happen there. There are these trade rumors have been, they've been kind of playing the hokey pokey a little bit. They're in trade talks and then they're out of trade talks, and they're in trade talks and they're out of trade talks. And it's like, well, do the Patriots want to replace Steph Diggs? What's the plan here? They need a true number one for Drake May. And so the question is, are they going to go after A.J. Brown? Are they going to draft one? Where are you at on that, Boots? I think they'll probably draft one. Yeah. Because there's only so much, noise you can handle and as far as receivers chirping in the media and stuff like that. Those types of things, no matter what he says, he's saying something about his quarterback in possibly a derogatory way, and in a way that's going to add more questions, and people are going to be asking questions of people who aren't playing that particular position. Sure. Offensive linemen are going to be asked about it, right? Running backs will be asked about it. And it's like, man, we just trying to get ready for this game. We ain't really trying to talk about what's been tweeted or put on whatever videogram. Right. We just trying to get ready for this next game. So if you have to continually answer questions about things that don't pertain to you, it creates a distraction. It does. It does. And that's going to be a big thing. I want to see what goes on with Hollywood Brown. I want to see what goes on with the Patriots and A.J. Brown. I want to see what happens. Alex, what say you? So really, really quickly, just one little note on Justin Joly. His pro day, according to NFL.com, is scheduled for March 24th. March 24th, they have North Carolina State along with other schools listed. So we will definitely have our eyes and ears on that day, which is this coming Tuesday as of this recording. So best of luck, Justin. As far as Hollywood Brown and A.J. Brown, it's like I believe it when I see it. I mean, I'm excited to see what happens with this. And right now it looks like A.J. Brown is still with the Eagles. So yeah, we will definitely be keeping our ears to the ground about this situation, because whoever picks up A.J. Brown, I mean, yes, you're going to be getting a top-tier receiver. You may also be getting some baggage to go with it. But if he goes to the Patriots and Mike Vrabel can kind of help cool his jets, kind of like he did with Stephon Diggs, because Steph Diggs is still there.
Yeah, and
he played for Tennessee with Vrabel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so there you go.
The thing is, the rumor is that he didn't like it. That's the big rumor. It's like, is he going to go somewhere he doesn't like? Is this how much of this is going to be an AJ Brown attitude issue? How much of this, how much of this is carryover from him being pissed off about Kevin Patullo? That's going to be the other. How much of it is that? Yeah, I got questions about is he just angry because Kevin Patullo wasn't actually getting him the football? Like what? Right. What is this? So
you can't tackle what you can't catch. You can't hurt what you can't hit.
Yeah,
according to Mr. Hudd. Thank you.
Yeah,
you can't tackle what you can't catch. You can't hurt what you can't hit.
Yeah, so that becomes the question too. How much of this is how much of this is gonna transpire with AJ Brown being over there in Patriots or in New England? Is he going to be there? Is he going to the Eagles going to deal him? How much are they going to get for him? That's going to be another thing. Like, I mean, the Eagles could be asking a first rounder for him. Are the Patriots willing to give up a first rounder? I mean, even though it's a late first rounder, a lot of questions. Right. A lot of questions about AJ Brown. Moving forward, let's go ahead and talk about the Eagles signing tight end Stone Smart to a 1-year deal. So they get themselves a blocking tight end, former Miami Dolphin, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he was with the Chargers.
Yeah, he was with the Chargers. You are right. And then also running back.
That's a smart move.
Yep. Eagles also signed running back Dameon Pierce to a 1-year deal. I didn't even realize Dameon Pierce was a free agent until I saw that he signed with the Eagles. And then I was like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
That's a good signing for a guy who should be starting somewhere.
He's pretty. I'll say this about Dameon Pierce. He had his chance. He had his opportunity in Houston and couldn't take the job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so this is what happens. Now you couldn't take that gig, and you're definitely not going to be starting over Saquon.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
So, take the spot you've been given, RB2, come in and do some damage when you need to, but it's not a bad signing. And again, he's pretty good at the goal line.
I thought Dameon Pierce was really good before DeMeco Ryans got there. If you recall, like the seasons that he had prior, it was like, okay, Dameon Pierce is it,
the one.
Yeah, the one good season leading into, and then DeMeco comes in and he's an afterthought. And I just don't know that we always talk about team and scheme, and I'm over here looking, I'm like, I think Dameon Pierce could be a great running back in this league still. I'm very much on Dameon Pierce the same way I was on Rico Dowdle. He just didn't get the opportunities, and the opportunities fell off. It wound up going, elsewhere. If it was me, I would love to see Dameon Pierce, hey, Dolphins, pick up the phone. This guy could be a good fit for you. He's not going to start over Achane, but Achane does have an injury history. He would be a good fit. This could be a situation where Dameon Pierce could start somewhere and probably should be starting somewhere. I think he's better than certain running backs in this league that are in their starting roles. Hey, Seattle. How about Seattle pick up the phone and give Dameon Pierce a call? I think he's better than the two running backs that they're probably going to be, rolling out at the beginning of the season this upcoming year.
You mad about George Halani? I Boise State royalty right there.
I think Dameon Pierce is better than George Halani.
Probably.
I think he's a better fit. I really believe that, and it's a frustrating situation to see Dameon Pierce just not get the love that he should be getting.
Hey man,
and I think
he had his shot.
Yep. So the question that I have, and maybe it's already been asked, where does this leave Tank Bigsby? Because he's still on the roster. So you got quite a few running backs in the room there, and obviously you got to make your cuts, and you got to get to 53 team members. But I think that Tank Bigsby might get dealt. But
Will Shipley's still there too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you think Bigsby will get dealt?
And he's a kick returner for them. So
I'm just throwing darts here, but you got Dameon Pierce on a deal. You got Will Shipley there, who's in year 3, going to be in year 3 out of Clemson. So and you'll have AJ Dillon sitting in the background too. So I'm like, and Tank Bigsby, he's
with the Panthers.
Oh yeah, okay. So AJ Dillon got signed to the Panthers, but Tank's 23 years old. He's only been in the league he's only been in the league since 23, so this will be like year 3. So, I would probably see if we can get a decent second or third rounder for him.
Yeah,
who knows?
I mean, it's a possibility, but I'm
just throwing it out there. It could totally miss. Who knows?
Yep. Another move the Eagles made: kicker Jake Elliott. His contract was reworked. It trimmed his base pay from $6 million to $5 million, but guarantees all of it. So he'll be with the team. And moving forward, they make some cap space. The Eagles do. They don't. It's like, how much more cap space do you need here?
Hey, he's a top 10 kicker.
Yep, top 10 kicker.
Can you hand that cap space over to teams who need it?
Yes, please. We could use some of that in Minnesota. As for the Commanders, let's go ahead and talk about the Commanders around that division. They go out and sign defensive back Jeremy Reeves to a 1-year extension. He's coming off of a breakout year. He didn't get a ton of starts, but when he was in there, man, he was tearing it up. Jeremy Reeves was. A lot of people didn't realize that. He's also a special teams guy, so there's that. They go out and re-sign offensive guard Chris Paul to a 1-year deal, so they get him in the door or back in the door.
I thought he retired.
Oh, Jesus. Really?
What?
Yeah, Paul?
Yeah.
He didn't retire.
Didn't he say he was going to retire at the end of this year?
No, well, maybe at the end of 26.
All those 3-pointers he made?
No, not that Chris Paul. Come on now. Offensive guard. He's not that big.
He plays guard.
Yeah. Also, Commanders signed wide receiver.
I got March Madness on the brain.
Unbelievable. They bring back wide receiver Diami Brown on a 1-year, $3 million deal. Familiar with the scheme, and Diami Brown comes walking back through the door. I actually like that signing.
Yeah, he and Jaden Daniels had a really good connection.
Yeah, I couldn't believe they let him go to Jacksonville last year.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised by that. They also re-signed running back Jeremy McNichols to a 1-year deal.
McWeapon.
Yeah, that's what he is. We always talk about offensive weapon. It's Jeremy McNichols all day. And then
that's what they used to call him at Boise State.
Yeah.
Jeremy McWeapon.
And then an interesting one, they signed running back Jerome Ford to a 1-year deal. Ford was playing with the Browns last year, and he gets signed to a 1-year deal with the Commanders. So they bring in a guy who's got a handful of starts in this league, a little bit of an injury history there, but
only from last season.
Yeah.
But he has been effective when he was the one for the Browns. He was really effective.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say he, blew the doors off, right?
Yeah, no.
But he was effective.
Yeah.
So you've got a running back who knows the gaps, knows when to turn it on, and he's still strong at the goal line, and he's underrated as a receiver out of the backfield.
I agree. I like Jerome Ford a lot. And I mean, if he can stay healthy, we're having a different conversation about Jerome Ford. Speaking of the Browns, they go out and make some moves. They sign defensive end Julian Okwara to a 1-year deal, so they get him locked in. I actually like that signing. Then they go out and sign defensive tackle Kalia Davis to a 1-year deal worth up to $3 million. But the marquee one that I really liked that they did, they also signed safety special teams ace Daniel Thomas to a 2-year deal. I'm okay with that. But the big one was defensive end AJ Epinesa to a 1-year, $5 million deal. He leaves the Buffalo Bills. I couldn't believe the Bills let him go.
You don't think about, when you think about the Buffalo Bills defense, you think about hearing the name AJ Epinesa.
Yeah. And I can't believe they just let him go out the door. This dude, he's been actually a really good player for them for a minute. And it was like, wait a second. You really let him go out the door? And I think it's a great pickup for Cleveland.
With that defensive line that they already have.
Good compliment to Myles Garrett over there. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, you want to talk about a good replacement or a good compliment off the edge.
Yeah, Mason Graham there at the D tackle.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
They're going to have a nice rotation at the defensive end spot.
It really is. And then speaking of the Browns, they proposed a rule change this past week. It's a rule change that would allow teams to trade draft picks up to 5 years in the future.
No.
So the league is considering it, obviously, but that is a thing. right now.
Yeah, we got our eye on this 8th grader. He's about to go to high school, and we think in 5 years he's gonna be the #1 pick, man.
We're gonna go pick him up. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So we brought this up. This was brought up in our private group chat, quite some time ago, and we balked at it then. So it's gonna lead to basically, it might lead to teams having like 6 draft picks in the first round, and then 5 years later there's absolutely nothing. So you thought the Miami Dolphins rebuild was bad, if draft picks go out 5 years in advance, we could see somebody just taking a bunker buster to their team and just rebuild, planting trees and building from absolute scratch.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a lot.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. You're going to see like, oh, hey, I'll give you 5 first rounders for this guy. I'll give you 5 first rounders for that guy. It's going to be wild. You think the Rams are doing the F them picks thing? Yeah. I mean, it's like this is gonna be obnoxious. And then speaking of Epinesa, his former team, the Bills, they had some stuff going on. They placed a restricted free agent tender on offensive lineman Ryan Van DeMark. And then the Vikings went out and signed him to an offer sheet for $4.2 million. The Bills elected not to match it. So Van DeMark is actually headed to Minnesota. I can't believe the Bills actually let this guy go quietly, a really good offensive lineman. And he winds up with the Vikings. The Vikings needed some offensive line help. Last year, obviously, we saw that they had School out there, School, however you pronounce his name.
No, it's Skull.
Who cares? That guy sucked. He was terrible. They filled him in for Christian Darrisaw a handful of times. They filled him in for Brian O'Neill. They put him on. He was just terrible. And people were like, well, that's enough of him. Van DeMark comes over. You get a guy that can play basically anywhere on the line. I like this signing a lot. He had good grades, in both pass blocking and run blocking. He's not a bad offensive lineman. I like this move. Boots, what say you?
I didn't like his grades in math though. What this does is it solidifies the fact that Kyler Murray is going to be the starter, and you need a strong interior for a player of his stature.
Yep.
So, and everything needs to be really clean pocket. So we'll see. I mean, but it's a really good signing though.
Yeah. And a guy that's going to appreciate that clean pocket will be also the now backup quarterback. A guy I assume is going to be the backup quarterback Carson Wentz. The Vikings signed him to a 1-year deal earlier this week. So Carson Wentz coming back. They bring him back. The quarterback, a guy I assume. This tells you, to me, this screams J.J. McCarthy is on the block.
Mm-hmm. This screams J.J. McCarthy won't be on the book.
Yeah,
right. he won't be. He won't be on the first team when practice starts.
No. I'm talking about, and if I'm Carson Wentz, if I was Carson Wentz, I would wrap a turd in a box and send it to the Vikings front office.
Yeah.
And say, this is from me to you.
Yeah.
Right? Because of what they did to Carson Wentz overseas.
They killed him.
And how they
killed that poor man.
Man, they knew they shouldn't have played him, and they did it anyway because they didn't want to look bad because they knew J.J. McCarthy wasn't ready to play, and he wasn't the guy. And that's what they did to Carson Wentz, got him injured even further. And if I'm Carson Wentz, I'm wrapping up a box of turds, and I'm sending it to the front office. Either I'm retiring or I'm signing somewhere else.
Yeah, this was not a good signing, it wasn't a good signing last year because they did have the offensive line. It was just, and they got this poor guy killed. Wasn't a bad I thought it was a good landing spot for Wentz because of the O'Connell reclamation project role, right?
Yeah, he's a good guy to have as a reserve.
But then they didn't give him any offensive line help. He got his ass kicked, and they put him back out there with the injured shoulder, and he gets his ass whooped. I mean, it wasn't that match made in heaven that we really thought it was going to wind up being. He didn't perform.
It was a match made in purgatory.
Yeah, he performed admirably for when he was in there. Let's be real. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say it was a world, but it was admirable.
Well, especially with his bum arm, too. I mean, he did pretty good.
Yeah. Better than McCarthy, right? I think it was better than McCarthy. I'm glad to see him back, given the circumstances, because I still don't believe in J.J. McCarthy. I think Kyler Murray is going to wind up being the starter here, and I think Carson Wentz is a better backup than J.J. McCarthy. I think McCarthy is quarterback 3 in Minnesota.
I think J.J. McCarthy is no quarterback at all.
No. I don't think he needs to be in that role. But here we are.
Let's have 9 be somebody else's problem.
He's the clipboard guy.
Scout team.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a clipboard guy.
He's
the juice box guy.
He'd be the water boy.
Yeah. So here we are. And then the Vikings also go out and sign. I like this signing a lot. Punter Johnny Hecker to a 1-year deal. The former Super Bowl winning punter. 4-time All-Pro. He gets signed to a 1-year contract with the Vikings. After Ryan Wright goes out the door, he leaves. He goes to the New Orleans Saints. And Johnny Hecker comes back in. If you recall, Hecker was really, really good in that Super Bowl that they won. I like Hecker a lot. Yeah.
I'm not going to be a heckler for Hecker.
No, I think that's a great signing, especially, just a 1-year deal. They get him basically on the cheap. I'm here for it. Let's talk about the Bears, though. They make some moves around the division. They signed defensive back Jalen Jones to a 1-year, $1.315 million deal. Jalen Jones, not a bad signing. Sort of a defensive back, jack of all trades. You can put him at safety. You can put him at corner. You can move him in the slot. You can basically put him wherever. Depth guy, very much, to use a baseball term, very much a Don Kelly type. He's that kind of guy. You can just plug him in anywhere.
Utility.
Make it work. Yeah, he's a utility type of DB.
I'm wondering what they're doing in Chicago.
I have questions. I mean, it's
let go of Nashawn Wright.
Yep.
Let go of Byard.
Yep.
You let go of who's the other corner? There's another defender that they let go of. Name escaping Brisker, Jaquan Brisker. Yeah, the safety. Yeah. So, what are you really doing? It almost tells me that they're going to be going heavy safety in the draft. Safety and corner in the draft.
And it's a good draft for that. There's good safeties and corners out there. I mean, we've seen a few, and you can get some really good safeties on day 2 at this stage.
Yeah, but I'm going to have some reservations about the Chicago secondary next season.
Yes,
I'll need to see what they do.
Yep, and they go out and they sign linebacker Jack Sanborn to a 1-year deal. So a little depth move there. And then a guy that's been around the league. You want to talk?
Get rid of Edmonds.
Yeah, and you want to talk?
Bears did
a journeyman defensive line James Lynch to a 1-year deal. So James Lynch, former Viking, former Panther, if I'm not mistaken, he's been around a lot. James Lynch has. He's been around this league for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets picked up by the Bears. So the Bears get some depth. Speaking of Jaquan Brisker, though. He signs with the Steelers, 1-year, $5.5 million deal. Steelers get a really solid safety. Alex, I know you love yourself some Jaquan Brisker. He goes to the Steelers. We were big on him. We were watching some of these games for the Bears going, man, this kid's all over the place. I mean, there were some moments where it was like, man, Jaquan Brisker's doing some damage here.
Yeah. And he's just one letter away from my favorite food.
No, brisket.
we might start calling him Jaquan Brisket around here.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, he's really good. I like this signing a lot. You and I were always big on Jaquan Brisker. I think he's a great fit for the Steelers.
We'll call him that when he get cooked on defense. If he get burnt.
Yeah.
If he get burnt, I'm going to call him Brisket. Yeah. Hold on now.
Okay.
I think he's a really great fit for the Steelers. I think this is like a perfect fit for him, based on their defense and what they do over there and how they play that hard-hitting Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I think he's a really aggressive safety, and I like that move.
Yeah, not bad at all.
No. They also signed defensive tackle Sebastian Joseph Day to a 2-year, $11 million deal. Another guy, been around the league for a minute. And really good defensive tackle, signs a 2-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So he's going to be back around. I like this move.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, PI, right?
Not bad.
Yeah, no, not a bad move at all. Elsewhere around that division, the offensive tackle Orlando Brown. He signs a 2-year, $32 million contract extension with the Bengals. And it's got a signing bonus of $14 million. That's per Tom Pelissero. This is a smart play by the Bengals, keeping Orlando Brown in the door. He's one of the best offensive tackles out there. They need to protect Joe Burrow at all costs. Brown does his job. This is one guy you want to make sure you retain on that line, and they get him on a good price too, $32 million on 2 years.
Oh yeah.
That's a nice price for one of the better offensive tackles out there.
Yeah, that's always going to be my words. Protect Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
that's just it.
PJB.
That's it. They got to protect Joe Burrow at this stage of the game. Also, a former Baltimore Raven signs with the Bills. Safety Geno Smith goes to the Bills on a 1-year, $6 million deal. So the Bills
He went to the Jets.
Nope. Well, he did go to the Jets last year, goes to the Bills this year. So stays interdivision. He's a former Baltimore Raven, former New York Jet. Now he is a Buffalo Bill, staying in New York. So with the Bills, they needed a safety. They needed safety help. Geno Stone is one of the, I remember in Baltimore years ago, Tyler and I were sitting on the show and I said, you need to watch this Geno Stone kid. He's just killing it tonight. I go, they've been calling his name all night. And Tyler's like, nah, he's a backup. I'm like, no. This guy is the real deal. You need to watch Geno Stone. And next thing you know, Geno Stone is having this breakout season. And Tyler is sitting here about 12 weeks later going, yeah, Geno Stone, man. I hope they re-sign him to an extension. So Geno Stone, he goes, he had the breakout season with the Ravens, went to the Jets. He was okay with the Jets, but a lot of it is just, it's the Jets. And it's Alex. I know you and myself and Boots. We've all condemned the Jets as just this,
this
as Alex
cheese.
says, coffin on roller skates.
Yeah, coffin on roller skates. Government cheese organization.
Yeah, and so Geno Stone going to the Bills. This is a good fit for Geno Stone, I think, especially at that price point. 1 year, $6 million. Boots.
I mean, why not?
Why not, right? I mean, this is a good fit. Elsewhere around that division, the Patriots making some moves. They go out and sign linebacker KJ Britt to a 1 year, $1.4 million deal. This is a good signing, actually. Britt's a decent linebacker, and they get him at $1.4 million. Basically damn near league minimum for KJ Britt.
Yeah.
That's a good signing. This is interesting. Alex, a guy that you're very familiar with, the man who was responsible for the bounce off the face mask into Brandon Ayuk's hands. Corner Kendall Vildor signs with the Patriots on a 1 year deal. Is Vildor, I mean, obviously this is depth, right? This has got to be depth, Kendall Vildor. But, is this a good signing? Do you like this signing? Do you think this fits with the Patriots? Alex, what are you at? Where are you at there?
I mean, sure, why not? If we take a look at Vildor's stats, if I can find him, I'll say this. I don't think lightning's going to strike twice. I mean, that's just one of those things where it's like, okay, that's a once in a lifetime deal, and that's never going to happen again. But and again, like you said, depth move for a team that's already got a decent defense. I don't think it's a bad move at all.
No, I think it's a good depth move. I think it fits what they're doing. Speaking of the Lions, Rock Ya-Sin gets signed to a 1 year, $3.2 million deal. So the Lions get a corner there. We announced that last week, but the numbers came out on Rock Ya-Sin, $3.2 million. I think that's a nice little fit for the Lions there. Yep. They get Rock in the door, and then also the Lions go out and sign wide receiver Greg Dortch, the former Arizona Cardinal. They signed him to a 1 year deal,
and that's an interesting pickup. Greg Dortch, my brother, my brother, the package Andrew Steele, and I were talking about this, a little bit ourselves. It's like, okay, I'm not like jumping for joy and going, oh God, we got the perfect. Well, he's good. He's had a varying degree of success in Arizona. We saw him pop up here and there, and now that he's going to a system and he's going, following, his offensive coordinator, Drew Petzing, let's, combined with, Dan Campbell's, system, we'll see what happens. It's a positive signing.
Boots, you like Greg Dortch over there in Detroit? I mean, I think he comes off, I mean, given on that team, what they have on that team, he's basically wide receiver 4 over there, right, at this stage. I mean, you think he's not going to beat out Isaac Tesla as the wide receiver 3, right?
No, not at this point. But what you get with Greg Dortch is you get a possible punt and kick returner.
Yes.
Right? You have depth in the wide receiver room. You have a veteran who knows the system, like to Alex's point, where you can now use him as a sort of a coach on the field with the other receivers. And what you get with Greg Dortch, you get Amon-Ra St. Brown light, because he's one of those guys who works very well in the seam. He works very well in zone and catches the ball extremely well. He knows how to sit down and get himself and be seen by the quarterback. You know why?
Why?
Because Greg Dortch is a former quarterback himself.
There you go.
Played at Bowling Green. You got a guy who knows the quarterback position and knows how to run routes to favor the quarterback.
That's it.
So I really like this signing for the Lions, especially with losing Khalif Raymond.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Another receiver signing that I know you're going to like is with the Giants. They go out and sign wide receiver Darnell Mooney to a 1-year, $10 million deal. The Giants wind up with Mooney, and I do you think he's wide receiver 2 over there? I mean, they still have Darius Slayton over there. Obviously,
Malik Neighbors, obviously.
He's number 1. Is Mooney going to overtake Darius Slayton as wide receiver 2 now that Wan'Dale Robinson has gone to Tennessee? You know, who's going to be wide receiver 2?
I think it'll still be Slayton.
Think so?
Because he's still that boundary X guy on the outside.
Yep.
And to be able to use Darnell Mooney on the inside, sort of like what I was saying with Marquise Hollywood Brown. Run him up the middle and then break him to the outside so he can use that speed against the defender. Or you go deep on the inside and don't put him in the middle of the field to put him in harm's way.
Yeah.
But get him to the inside, break him to the outside, or we going deep.
A lot of speed with Darnell Mooney.
Yeah.
A lot of speed there. I actually like that. The Giants, they go sign safety Jason Pinnock.
But he's got to be healthy, because that's what's been hurting him, quote unquote, pardon the pun, for the last couple of seasons.
And it was that way in Chicago, we saw the breakout year in Chicago where he turned into the wide receiver 1. It's like, oh, okay, look at this, Darnell Mooney. And then it didn't reemerge. And then
he and Justin Fields had a great rapport that year, and then it didn't replicate the following season.
Yep. And that was because he was hurt. And then we wound up going to Atlanta, and he's had some breakout moments in Atlanta, but we're waiting for that. Yeah, I think he's kind of a dedicated wide receiver 2 at this point. I think you're talking, probably a low to mid-grade 2. He's shown that he can, if he needs to step up and kind of spot start in the 1, he can. We've seen that from time to time, depending on the situation.
Right.
But for $10 million, I mean, that's about right for Darnell Mooney. I think at this stage and given the market, I think that's about right. They also signed safety Jason Pinnock to a 1-year, $1.4 million deal. Comes off like a depth move, but Pinnock's still a good player. So to get him on the field, I'm okay with that as a depth move. Also around that division, the Cowboys making some moves. First of all, they go out and sign quarterback Sam Howell to a 1-year, $2.5 million deal. Howell famously lost his opportunity in Minnesota after the Vikings went and traded for him in the draft. And he just got beat out. I mean, that was just what it came down to. Beat out by Sam Darnold.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Do you think Howell, I mean, obviously he's going to be behind Dak Prescott. If Howell gets called upon, do you think that he's going to be effective at all with the Dallas Cowboys?
He'll be effective-ish because he knows the division and he knows, the teams in it and, some of the schemes. But beyond that, this is,
Yeah, kind of obviously it's depth. I think they should.
All it is.
They should add a new quarterback. They need to draft one. This is like, if
I
there's
agree.
a year to draft a if there's a year to draft a quarterback right now to sit behind Dak Prescott and learn something, and you can find that guy, you're probably going to be able to find that guy on day 2, whether it's in Aller or Klubnik or whomever.
Taylor Green.
Yeah, let him sit behind. And do you think Green goes day 2? Do you think he's a day 2 guy at this point, or do you think you wait till day 3?
Depends on It depends on your team and how many draft picks you have.
Yeah, he's super athletic. I mean, Green is.
And how much time do you have patience wise?
Yeah. You're going to have to develop him a little bit, especially like in his passing game. You're going to have to develop him a little bit more as far as the passing goes.
Yeah.
Super athlete. I mean, like we saw the 40-time Alex, you and I were blown away.
The broad jump, everything.
Yeah, everything was great. His athleticism was off the charts.
Yeah.
We watched him in the drills, the position specific drills. Accuracy was a little meh, but from time to time, it's like, okay, there's something there.
There's something there.
Yeah, you're going to have to develop him a little bit, throwing mechanic wise, things like that. So
if you have the time in the draft capital.
Yeah. You got to be able to do it. So, the Cowboys, they're making moves. Also, they go out and restructure defensive end Rashawn Gary. So he agreed to a pay cut as part of the trade from Green Bay. He drops his compensation to $16 million for each of the next 2 seasons. Dallas added an option and void years, lowering Gary's cap number to $5.44 million this season and $8.24 million in 2027. He's due 19.5 this season and 22.5 in 27. He had been due that amount with no guaranteed money. So most of the 2026 compensation is now guaranteed, including a $13.2 million signing bonus. So he gets his money guaranteed. They kick the can down the road. Obviously, Dallas, they're trying to make sure their cap number is good for this year and next year. And then they add void years on the back end. So they're going to still be paying him when he's gone. They did add an option in there to keep him, but it's an interesting little caveat there. Rashawn Gary must have really wanted out of Green Bay for some reason. I mean, to be willing to do all that.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, or maybe he just wanted the guaranteed money. I don't know.
Yeah,
that could be.
You do have a family to feed.
Yeah. So, I mean, he takes you just guaranteed, he locks in the money. I'm going to make sure I get my money for sure.
Well, plus it's Jerry. you have to understand. Yeah. It's Jerry pulling the purse strings here.
Yeah, Jerry Jones, he's got that tendency. Also, the Panthers go out and they sign Super Bowl winning quarterback Kenny Pickett to a
Super Bowl ring wearing quarterback.
He didn't win nothing.
Wearing. We'll roll with wearing.
Quarterback.
Kenny Pickett to a 1-year, $7.5 million deal, $4 million guaranteed. Pickett to the Panthers. There's the backup. Maybe that's why they were so comfortable dealing Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
But Kenny Pickett to the Panthers. Do you like this move? I don't.
Oh, no.
I mean,
you already know my feelings about Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
He got lucky that the Pittsburgh Steelers wasted a draft pick on him.
Yeah.
And then won it out of Pittsburgh all those days.
Yeah, I know it. Also, one guy that didn't want out of Tennessee, it was Calvin Ridley. Titans wide receiver Calvin Ridley. He agreed to a restructured contract to keep him with the Titans for the 2026 season, as reported by Tom Pelissero. So Calvin Ridley sticking around. That's going to be a nice little compliment, I think. Calvin Ridley and Wan'Dale Robinson and you got Ayomanor over there.
Ayomanor.
I'm trying to pronounce that guy's name.
Chimere
DK I got.
You got there. You've got, again, Calvin Ridley. We talked about it last week. Now there's Brian Daboll. That's the offensive coordinator. He'll utilize Calvin Ridley. There's another year with Cam Ward at the quarterback spot. Now there's more chemistry to be had. So they've got and Wan'Dale Robinson, who again, already familiar with the system, can be another coach on the field, like Greg Dortch for the Lions. You've got Wan'Dale Robinson can be a coach on the field for the Tennessee Titans in that receiving corps. Yeah. Especially with those two young guys, Ayomanor and Chimere DK.
Yes.
So this is very good.
Yeah, I like this signing a lot. I think Tennessee is also probably going to make their way into the running back field come the NFL draft too. I think they're going to wind up drafting one at some point.
Not in the first round.
No, not in the first round. No, I don't think but there are rumors swirling that they do like Jeremiah Love. So we're gonna find out. I mean, who doesn't? But that early?
Yeah, who knows? They can get but they need some offensive line.
Yes, they do.
They also need to solidify the defense a little bit more.
Yes, I agree.
But this is the draft for that.
Yeah. Bingo.
offensive line and defense.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. You especially on the linebacker position. I
Yeah.
mean, linebackers are, man, that linebacker class is impressive.
Yeah.
Chargers, they go out and agree to a deal with Trey Lance on a 1-year deal. So they're going to go ahead and have Trey Lance back with the Chargers.
How much you want to bet they draft Bryce Lance?
They probably will. Also, the Chargers go out and sign safety Tony Jefferson to a 1-year deal. So they get Tony Jefferson. He was with the Chargers before he returns to the team. So you're going to see Tony Jefferson over there, the former Baltimore Raven. And also the Buccaneers, they go out and sign offensive guard Dan Feeney to a 1-year, $1.4 million deal. So, no, that's not a bad deal. More of an interior offensive lineman. He can play guard. I think if you get that guy playing center, you might be okay there too. If he can play, I think he played center before, but he's a good interior offensive lineman to have. Kind of a utility interior guy.
Yeah.
Then we had a series of retirements, and I'm just gonna swing through these really quick. First of all, wide receiver GJ Chark, he announces his retirement. Wide receiver T.Y. Hilton, who hasn't been in the league since 2022, he goes out and announces his retirement. Linebacker Logan Wilson retires after 8 seasons. That one was crazy to me. He leaves, he gets traded from Cincinnati to Dallas, and then retires after the last year, and he had 8 seasons in the league. I think Logan Wilson still was capable of playing at a really high level. I was very surprised by that one.
Yeah.
Running back Boston Scott, the former Philadelphia Eagle.
Remember Boston Scott?
He retires. And then
Kenneth Gainwell had a nice little
1-2 punch there.
Yeah.
And then also, Alex, a guy you're very familiar with, corner Darius Big Play Slay. He announced his retirement as well, the former Philadelphia Eagle.
And former Detroit Lion.
Yeah. So,
you know who else did?
Who's that?
Adam Thielen.
Oh, yeah, Adam Thielen. Yeah, I mean, who gives a shit about Adam Thielen, that turncoat? But
Can't believe
Adam Thielen and C.J. Ham both announced their retirements, but those were announced a couple weeks ago. I mean, Adam Thielen, did you have the Thielen?
I got the Thielen.
There it is. I was waiting for it.
Thielen.
I was waiting for that.
Baby.
Baby. When did I start?
Baby.
Unreal. So that's our news around the league.
And now we've come to the end of the road. Wilson, Slay, Thielen, Chark. Wilson, Slay, Thielen, Chark, and
Boston Scott.
And let go. No more Super Bowls. No more Pro Bowls. Only ice cream bowls. Go to the bathroom. We know that you can't have lactose. Use that spray in there. That damn spray in there. How much? I don't care.
What has happened?
Please wash your hands with your nasty ass. Did you just pass gas running down the hall? Homeboy, check your drawers.
What did we start?
Happy retirement.
To all 5 of you. To all 5 of you.
Play Slay.
Jesus Christ.
Logan Wilson.
I started this horrible karaoke.
The Shark.
Come on,
Jesus.
you
We
know
even
you
had
love
backup
it.
singers.
Got that feeling.
Yeah.
We had backup singers this time. This is insane. This is turned into
Scott.
Boston Scott, man. I was surprised by Boston Scott a little bit too, to be honest with you.
Hit it.
Yeah, and Darius.
Happy retirement.
Yeah, Darius Slay, I'm not as surprised by. Obviously, he's been in the league a long time. He was talking about retiring last year, retires this year. So
Wish he would have came back to Detroit one more time.
I mean,
Run it back one more year.
I would have loved for him to come back to Detroit because he had lost a step and he would have gotten burned by Justin Jefferson over and over again. But I digress. Yeah, you heard me. I'm kidding. So there's that. And then now, folks, we're jumping into our final part of the show here. We got our defensive tackles for the upcoming NFL draft. I have found my 5 favorite defensive tackles coming out of the draft here, and they might surprise you a little bit. The first one won't. I'll start at number 5, though, because I know Boots likes it when I do it that way. But We'll start out number 5, Chris McClellan out of Missouri.
Go Tigers.
Yes. This dude is great in run defense. And in pursuit of the ball carriers, he's a good, solid tackler. I like that. Capable of hammering opposing offensive linemen with his bull rushing. He drives them back, into the quarterback's lap. I saw it on a lot of tape. He requires opposing offensive lines to double team him. He will require that. The cons on him, he gets pushed off his spot due to playing with bad leverage. A lot. The high pad level. The pass rush skills aren't there, whether it's playing with a high pad level, bad leverage, not getting off of the line quickly enough. The pass rushing needs work. He needs to get off the line of scrimmage just faster. That's the biggest thing. Chris McClellan, Boots.
6'4", 315-pound Florida transfer.
Yep.
He's had 15 solo tackles in 25. He got how many sacks? 8 TFLs and 6 sacks. What I like about McClellan is the ability to disengage from blocks and be able to make non-assisted tackles.
Yes.
Right? Because as a defensive tackle, you're considered a little bit more plodding, not being able to get to the. But when you talk about TFL, 6.5 TFLs, that means he's getting into the backfield.
Yep.
He's pushing the pocket, disengaging from blocks, and making stops behind the line of scrimmage, which you always like. What I don't like about the game, what I think he needs to get better at, is the pass rush moves and developing those a little bit more.
Yeah.
And being able to stay on the field a little bit longer.
Yeah.
He comes across as a little rotational, right?
Yeah, that was the
more development. He will be a starter.
That was the big thing. And that's, you read the scouting reports just across the board. You keep seeing that word rotational. Yeah. Maybe a rotational guy, because of the lack of it, you're not going to have him in there on third down.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was seeing. His lack of participation on third down. That's what was concerning me.
Yeah. Next up, let's talk about a guy that had himself a really, really nice combine. Demonte Capehart out of Clemson. Big time punch off the line. He's super athletic. He showed it at the combine, man. He was a top 5. This was an interesting stat. One of the top 5 most athletic defensive tackles in combine history. So that should just set off alarms there. Run stopping techniques are great. He's really versatile enough to play as a 2-gapping nose, in a 3-4 as a big space eater, in a 4-3. He's capable of that. He plays with good initial leverage, lower body strength. He really drives opposing offensive linemen back. The cons on him, and you're going to see this trend a lot, pass rush skill need work in both the hand techniques and the pass rush moves. He's just relying on bull rushing. Tackling needs work. He seems like he gives up leverage as the play progresses. And then he's got a lack of experience. He's only 12 games started over 6 seasons. So I get a little concerned about that, but I like Demonte Capehart a lot. He's one of my favorite guys coming out of this draft. Kind of a guy that there's a little bit of an unknown, but he could turn into a star at the pro level.
Demonte Capehart, 6'5", 313. He ran a 4.85 40. He was a big part of 3 ACC title defenses.
Yep.
He's really good laterally and moving down the line, which I like, which can be when you got gap scheme or teams that like to run off tackle, and when you've got a defender like that, he can again move down the line and get into the running lane.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to say. If I can say that. Moving down the line, getting to the running lane and making a tackle, that's where his strength really lies. He needs way more development with the pass rushing moves and just overall. And I think he needs to be a bigger part of the third down defense too, because there were stretches in the game where I did not see him, but I did see his counterpart, who a lot of people love in the first round, and I like him too, Peter Woods.
Yes.
From Clemson, same team. But Demonte Capehart, he's still had a really good combine, but Peter Woods shows up on tape a little bit more than Capehart, which tells me Capehart needs more development.
Yep.
And he definitely sets up as a rotational piece right now.
Right now. Super athlete. Yeah. A super athletic guy. I want to see if he can translate that to a full-time role in the NFL. Number 3, a guy that another guy that really stood out at the combine, Zane Durant out of Penn State. outstanding athletic profile. I mean, he was awesome. Plays with solid leverage, low pad level on every snap. Collapses the pocket as more of a gap penetrator with speed and agility as opposed to bull rushing. He reads like a pass rushing 3-tech to me. The arm length is a little concerning. He almost, it looked to me like on tape where like he gave up when he's pass rushing. When he gets beat, he just quits. It seemed like it's like, oh, I got beat here. Bill, that's enough of that. Tackling could use some work. I mean, he had a lot of missed tackles. He lacks the strength to break free once a lineman gets a hold of him. That's one thing I noticed. A guy gets a hold of him, and it's like, and again, that's part of that giving up thing. It's just like, man, well, he caught me here. I'll just get him next play instead of just playing through and trying to correct issues. Boots, Zane Durant, where you at on him?
Zane Durant, Penn State.
Yep.
The first thing I wrote, active.
Yes.
He's very active. Every single play. He does not, it's not like some of the other guys we talked about where is he?
Yeah.
Right. You always know where Zane Durant is because he's active, straight up speed. That 40 time was bananas. It's funny what you're saying because this is exactly what I wrote. In word for word, dog. Collapses pocket even while being undersized.
Yeah.
Right. You see it time and time and time again. So that tells me he's got a lot of strength. But yeah, disengaging from the block, that's where you have an elite tackle or an elite guard who can lock on and not let you go. That's where Durant may have some issues. I told her he reminded me of Aaron Donald. This is not a one-to-one comparison, but it reminds me of Aaron Donald. Maybe a little bit of Warren Sapp in there too, with just the ability to be so-called undersized in NFL, but still be able to produce. My big question is, what's he going to do against the run?
Yeah.
That's where my question lies.
The tackling is a concern when it comes to, the run defenses. And obviously, like the last 2 years, you saw he was tackling well early on, in 2024. And then there was like a fall off. It was like a drop off in 2025. So, right. With his tackling. So I wanted to see what happens there. Next up, Darrell Jackson out of Florida State. I like this guy. Big, long wingspan. It allows him to get a hold of running backs in gaps, even when he's beat by the offensive lineman. He'll just reach out and just grab dude. It's like, oh, you're coming with me regardless.
Yeah.
He's got good vision. He's got the ability to track and pursue opposing ball carriers. He's got a big time bull rush. He collapses the pocket up the middle on the passing downs. Maintains excellent gap integrity in the run game though. And a lot of that is because of that wingspan. But the cons on that, and again, this has been a common theme. The bull rush is that only pass rush move that he has. He doesn't do well against double team blocks. He seems to come off the line too slow. So it doesn't allow that length that he has to be used to his advantage with that initial punch. He's got to get off the line a lot faster in order to use that wingspan and to use those big long arms to his advantage. And he's not really doing that. So that could be something that gets, obviously we get coached up here. That's something that's coachable. But I like Darrell Jackson out of Florida State. Boots, where you at on him?
All right, Darrell Jackson Jr. 6'6", 315 pounds, multi-transfers, which means a lot of experience. Mm-hmm. He was all ACC honorable mention in 2024 and 2025. Named team captain, 2-time Bobby Bowden Leadership Award winner at Florida State. He is not a stat stuffer, but he's always there.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to account for him. And what I really, really like about him is he is a locker room guy. You got a 2-time Leadership Award winner, and he's a team captain, honorable mention, which means he's going to be there.
Yeah.
But you have somebody that you can depend on in the locker room. That I think is his greatest strength. Mm-hmm. But on the field, you get all of those other things too. But what did I write when it comes to his, what did I write right here? I underlined it right here. What did I write?
Needs more moves.
See,
That's it.
Right? I wrote, that's exactly what I wrote.
Yeah.
And I also wrote, he plays tall.
Yes.
Right? So that leverage, he needs to be able to squat, get that squat and drive up into that trajectory and not just stand up. Right. So I've seen him stand up right away too many times. I need that drive. I need that, that push.
Yeah.
Anyway,
he's a little late to the party when it comes to, like actually like getting off the line and creating that leverage. And I feel like he pops up, like he's trying to catch up, and the guy gets inside real quick. He's got such a long wingspan. It's like, just take it. I wish he could take advantage of that.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, he's got all the intangibles. Just getting off that line a little bit quicker, I think, would help him. And then last but not least, and this should be no surprise to anybody, even though like I don't know why people were critical of him at the combine. I saw something different, but Lee Hunter out of Texas Tech, man, this is a big-bodied, space-eating run stuffer. I mean, he's disruptive up the middle. He collapses the pocket with an awesome bull rush. He forces teams to try and get their running backs outside. They do not want to run directly at this guy because he just eats up the run. He requires double team blocks, which frees up his teammates for other assignments. He creates situations where, okay, here you go, Mr. Linebacker. You go hit that quarterback, or you go ahead and take care of that running back.
Right. You see Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker for Texas Tech, had a very good year, and a lot of that was due to the activeness of Lee Hunter. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. The bull rush, once again, the bull rush seems like the only pass rush move that this guy has. He doesn't seem to have a very high motor. He does get a little bit tired at certain times throughout the games that I've watched. He needs to maintain leverage throughout the entire game. It's like he gets gassed a little bit, especially during those long drives.
Yeah. And
then I don't want to call it laziness, but like, it's just like, I'm exhausted now, and I'm giving up leverage and letting these guys get inside my arms here, getting inside, underneath my pads. And he gives up that leverage because he stands up tall at that point instead of getting low. But I like Lee Hunter out of Texas Tech. I think he is a just massive space eater. Like, you want to stop the run, and if your team's struggling to stop the run, this is the guy. A lot of people have him projected as a early day 2 guy for second round, pick 33, 34. I still think he's a potential first round guy. You're going to talk about him in like the 20s. I think he's a first round possibility for any team that needs a defensive tackle. He should be the first one off the board. Boots?
He definitely could be. What else can I add? Right, Lee Hunter, you've seen the effectiveness, you've seen the production. What I need to see more is, the biggest thing for me is focus.
Yeah,
because I'll go back to it as I'm watching the combine. As I'm watching, the coach is there, and they're telling all of the prospects, hey, here's the next drill. You're going to do this, and you're going to do that. You're going to do this, and then that. All right. And he's giving all the instructions, and the camera kind of, focuses in on Lee Hunter, and Hunter looked at the camera, and Hunter gives the, little wink, little nod, kind of blowing a deal, like
blowing kisses,
the little, the little he. Okay. I can get with that. All right. I'll give you one. Right. But then he does it again, and he kind of leans more into it. Now, this is the second time you've done this, and this coach who's instructing these players and these prospects, he's still talking.
Yeah.
The coach is still, giving you the instructions on the drill. And you're looking at the camera, giving them the ha-ha funny stuff. Okay, man. Now my mind is going, okay, is this dude all the way focused all the time on his job?
He's a little excited about being in the NFL draft situation, it seems.
And it's fun. It's cool to have personality. And we have personality, but we know when and where to let utilize that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, dog, he's giving you instruction on what your job is going to be during this drill, and what your job is going to be in the future coming up here in the draft. So you need to be focused 100%. And looking at the camera, giving them the wink and the kiss and the funny ha-ha. You say that, dog. Say that for the Super Bowl. Say that for, Instagram. Save that. I'll give you one, right? But when you do it 2 and 3 times, now I'm questioning your focus.
Now you're just dicking around.
Yeah.
That's sometimes we've gone above and beyond. Yes. Boots, you got a guy that you liked a lot. Let's talk about him.
That's right. I talked about him last week. He said, if I were doing defense, right?
Yeah.
Well, doggone it, I'm doing defense. I'm only doing one player at each position, and this is my guy at the defensive tackle. I talked about him last week. Bryson Tyson Eason.
Yeah.
University of Tennessee. Yeah, this dude, I like the combine. I really love the effort on the field.
Yes.
Because the combine numbers are okay, right? They're good, but they don't pop off the charts. But when you watch the tape and you watch the game, dude is showing up every single play in the game. He collapses the pocket. He plays well in space. He disengages from blocks pretty well. He's athletic, former linebacker, former defensive end, finally moved to the defensive tackle spot, 6'2", 315 pounds. So he's big enough to be able to maneuver some of these offensive linemen, but he's light enough and quick enough to be able to get away and get into the running lanes and get into the screen lane.
Yeah.
Right. And so but playing those other positions prior to linebacker and defensive end, it gives him more versatility along the defensive line. And that's why I really like Bryson Eason. Bryson Eason.
He was a super athlete at the combine. He stood out to you and I, Alex. He did a great job at the combine. When it comes to him, you know, like from what I've watched and when you sent his name over, I was like, okay. And so from what I watched, like, I feel like I don't know if he needs work so much as a pass rusher. I just feel like it could be better, you know, like, you know, as a pass rusher.
He's more of a combo guy.
Yeah. And he's going to be a 3-tech for sure. It's just the question is how effective can he be? Because like he's got the athleticism. He's got the ability to be a lot better than what showed up on tape at the pass rushing role. And if he does that, we're having a different conversation about him. I think he fits a 4-3. Yeah, I'd be putting him in there. You know, you get him in with a big, sizable defensive tackle. You put him in there next to a Tavondre Sweat type, and we're going to have a different conversation about what Eason's going to do.
I can see that. He's a heavy rotational player at this point right now.
Right.
He sets up as we can get him into the rotation immediately.
Sure.
Right. And then work to what's he going to be in 2-3 years down the line.
Yeah. And he's developmentally, you know, like, and you see players like that come on and not just, you know, me talking out as a Vikings fan, but you see it out of guys like Jalen Redmond, for example. You got to see the development out of him. And so now you're going to see that development. I think Eason is kind of on that same trajectory as far as the development goes.
Right.
So that's kind of where you're going to be. Alex, you got a couple of guys that you liked.
Yep, I certainly do. So let's pull up the list. I marked a couple of guys. Bryson Eason was one of the guys that I marked during the combine. I really liked his drills. The two guys that I'm pulling up, I've got Devin Estern, first of all, out of Minnesota, a redshirt senior. He's got now his grades aren't like pop off the chart good, but you know he's pulling a 67.3 overall PFF defense grade, 68.3 run defense grade, 66 pass rush grade. So taking a look at his statistics, the ones that kind of popped off for me. You know, out of 499 snaps, he had 237 run defense and 262 pass rush. He had 14 quarterback pressures, 3 sacks, 2 quarterback hits, and 9 hurries. He also had 24 tackles with 9 assists. He missed 7 of them, but overall he had 21 defensive stops. So, you know, whether it's you stop the play at the line, you get tackles for a loss, you know, there you go. And, like I said, neither of the guys that I selected ran during the combine. They didn't run under 40 times. And these guys typically like to focus that effort on their pro days. But again, when he was running his drills, you know, he had great movement. He had nice control. You know, that's the thing that kind of stood out to me for everybody at the combine.
He's long. He's fast. He's explosive. The things that on field, tape wise, on field, consistency is the biggest issue for him, and that will be the biggest issue is just his playability. You know, this is, as Boots has said on a couple of occasions, and as we've talked about, rotational guy to probably, you know, when he gets drafted. I think the combine definitely boosted his draft stock. Originally projected as an undrafted free agent, has kind of moved into that day 3 conversation. We could be talking about 5th, 6th round guy, probably starting as a rotational piece, but you know, ultimately we could be having a discussion about Devin Eastern as a guy that ends up being, you know, a stud in this league with some development, but he's got to be more consistent with the pass rushing. He's got to be more consistent being able to stop the run and miss tackles and things like that. That is his biggest issue right now, is just consistency. If you can get consistent work out of him, and you can, and all this stuff, like we keep saying, this is coachable shit. This is stuff that's 100% coachable. If you can coach him up, you could have a guy that's going to be a long-term player in the league. It's just a matter of coaching him up, and having him, really show up on a regular basis. Alex, who's your next one?
So really quickly, likely landing spots for Devin Eastern: Green Bay at 32%, Las Vegas at 19%, and Seattle at 6%. My second guy, Tim Keenan III, redshirt senior out of Alabama. This guy posted some better grades: 70.8 overall PFF defense grade, 73.7 run defense grade, 63 pass rush grade. And let me take a look at this other thing. He also had 50. He had a 54 coverage grade. Now, granted, coverage grades are like the defensive tackle's job is to break through the line and get to the quarterback. So, but occasionally you'll see coverage sets where the guy drops back in the coverage to try to cover that middle ground.
It's a rarity. I mean, like a lot of times it's the run stuffing is what you're going to get out of your defensive tackles. In the case of Tim Keenan here, and this is, that's his bread and butter is the run defense. Yeah. That is his bread and butter is where it's at. Mm-hmm. When it comes to the defensive tackles, it depends if they're 3-tech. Yeah, but he's a run stuffer. And that's one thing I like about Tim Keenan is the fact that he is a run stuffer. I mean, this guy, he killed it again in the run game. If you're going to talk a guy that's gonna be a 3-tech, that's not really his game. And one of the big problems for Tim Keenan right now is the arm length. The arm length is not there, man. He gets grabbed up real quick, and that's a lot of it matters. When you're in the interior, it definitely matters,
and that's why you got to get off the ball very fast.
Yeah. These guys get a hold of him though, and it's a little problematic. And that was one of the big things I read on every scouting report. And then you go and you watch the tape, and you're like, oh man, like there it is.
Because that's something that you have. If you don't have the arm length, especially as a defensive guy, you have to be able to get off the ball fast and get into the offensive lineman chest before he can set. So you got to beat the other guy. For context,
30.5 arm length. So that is the bottom 8%. So I mean, like think about that, in terms of, so it's a little problematic. But as far as like run stopping, I mean, that's great. He can handle double team blocks, which I love. He's good getting gap control is basically his big thing. He is a gap control kind of guy, and he's going to go out and just be a run stopper, space eating kind of guy. That's what you want. I wouldn't dip him back. It's rare that you see a defensive tackle, dip back into coverage or whatever the case may be. They're going to be space eaters. They're going to be guys that you're going to want to just have people grab a hold of him. He's probably capable, but I wouldn't do it. I would have him say, "Hey, watch these running backs." That's all I would do with him. But the arm length is the question.
Yeah, did pretty good with the quarterback pressures. He had 12 pressures, 3 sacks, and 9 hurries in 2025. Also had 13 tackles with 5 assists. He had 3 misses and 12 overall defensive stops. The likely landing spots for this young man: Chicago at 22%, Green Bay at 10%, and Las Vegas 6%. One last thing that I kind of think was interesting. So in percentiles among defensive interiors with 300 plus snaps, he had a 3.6 run stop rate and a 2.7 pass rush win rate. So, obviously, his snap work in 2025 out of 400 snaps was pretty even. But, just like you said, that the run defense grade, that run stuffing play is his bread and butter, and anybody looking for somebody who can shut down the running back, look this guy up.
Yeah, he's definitely worth a look. You could be talking about him as a day 3 guy as well. I think he's probably ranging in the 5th or 6th round. He's one of those guys. Those Bama defensive tackles, Boots. I feel like every year where there's at least one or two of them.
Oh yeah.
Every year it's Bama offensive tackles and defensive tackles. I feel like we're always like, oh hey, there's going to be a couple.
It kind of feels like though we're at the tail end of that.
Yeah. The Saban era is over.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know about DeBoer, brother.
Yeah.
So I think we're coming to the tail end of that.
Yeah. The dynasty may be leaving.
Yeah, and he's projected to be like in anywhere between the mid 130s and the 150s. For his draft pick. So that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, about day 3, and that's about right. So those are our defensive tackle prospects for this show. And
let's go over them one more time.
We'll go over them one more time.
One last time, so the brethren and the sistren and the Blitz Babies, everybody can know who we talking about.
So my top 5, I have Chris McClellan out of Missouri. I'm looking at DeMonte Capehart out of Clemson. I'm looking at Zane Durant out of Penn State. I'm looking at Daryl Jackson out of Florida State, and I'm looking at Lee Hunter out of Texas Tech. Those are my guys. Boots, who you got?
Bootleg B team, first team, the only team. We got Bryson, Tyson, Eason out of Tennessee.
And Alex, who you got?
I've got Devin Eastern out of Minnesota and Tim Keenan III out of Alabama.
Yeah, those guys, I think those are guys to watch. We're going to see some of these guys, a lot of these guys get drafted really in the NFL draft at the end of April. But folks, that's our show. Before we get out of here, I want to give before we get out of here, we gotta talk a little bit.
We gotta go.
Yes, we do. But folks, before we get out of here, we're going to talk a little bit about It's Your Time Massage. Amanda's a wonderful massage therapist in the Metro Detroit area. If you're looking for a massage, if you're looking for a Swedish massage, deep tissue massage, you're looking for a little bit extra, you can get some CBD oil. You can get yourself muscle scraping. You can get yourself red light therapy. You can get yourself the CBD oil is awesome. I love that. You got to check it out, iytmassage.com, or you can find her at It's Your Time Massage LLC on Facebook. Book yourself an appointment. She's the best massage therapist in the Metro Detroit area. Highly recommended. Check her out. It's Your Time Massage at iytmassage.com. Book yourself an appointment. And remember, it's your time.
One time she rubbed her head, all her hair fell out.
No, golly.
It was so relaxed, all her hair fell out.
Oh, they're so relaxed. Well, wouldn't that make her stressed? I don't know. But Boots, let's talk about books.
Yes, those things that I don't read that give you paper cuts.
Yeah, well, Jesus.
But the book you should read, it won't give you paper cuts, maybe. Just keep some Band-Aids on hand. Here's I Ate Cookies Out of the Trash, written by Tammy Pruitt. This book is about love, self-expression, anxiety, depression. It's about a life story that is filled with humor. It is filled with information, and it's filled with heart, just like this book is. This is her life story about her struggles with weight loss, weight gain, and anxiety, depression, the things that we all go through every single day. There's something in this book that can help you. There's personal stories, but there's also links to be able to get in contact with people who can help you with any of those issues that you may be having. This book is phenomenal, and you should be reading it. The only way you can get this book, though, you can't just walk into a store, saunter in like some bum off the street and buy it. No. You got to go online. You got to get applebooks.com. You got to go to amazon.com, barnesandnoble.com. You can just ask Jeeves.
You're the only guy asking Jeeves these days.
I ask Jeeves everything.
You're the only one.
The only
Nobody
one.
asking Jeeves anymore.
That's right. I'm his last customer. But and he doggone the Jeeves works for me. He could work for you. Just go online. Type it in. I ate cookies out of the trash. Those websites. It will find it for you. And then you just order it. It comes in hardcover or paperback. You get to find out the story of why this author ate cookies out of the trash. It's a great one.
It reads like a conversation.
That's right, but not a boring one. Scotty, this book is phenomenal. You should be reading it, but you got to buy it first. Amazon.com, barnesandnoble.com, applebooks.com. Just go on the .coms, type it into the little keyboard, and click it into the search bar. Tick, tick, tickety, tack, tack.
Yep.
And then find it. It'll be delivered right to your door. You can open it at buy yourself a Christmas present for someone, a birthday present, an anniversary gift. This book is for everyone. Just I ate cookies out of the trash. Tammy Pruitt's the author. Buy the book, read it, enjoy it, love it, then set it on the bookshelf and let it collect dust.
Absolutely. And let's talk about the artist formerly known as Big Willie Dubs Gaming, now known as No Shot Bot TTV. Will's awesome. His gaming channel is tremendous. He does a lot of first-person shooter stuff over there. But if you're looking for extra entertainment with No Shot Bot TTV, you should check out some of the other stuff he's doing. He's doing things like the Hot Ones Challenge. He's out there doing, eating weird jelly beans and stuff like that. I did that with him. I ate one that tasted like a booger. It was gross. So he's a special guest on that show. Another guy going.
I ate a booger one time. It tasted like a jelly bean.
What the hell is the matter with you? Anyway, last but not least, Alex, what Steel Twins Gaming got going on over there?
Hey kids, do you like video games? Do you like theater? Steel Twins Gaming might just be what you're looking for. Whether it's the good old first-person shooter, RPG, or your favorite story-based adventures, we think we have something for just about everyone. We've got everything you need to satisfy your digital cravings, whatever they may be. And best of all, our channel has something nobody else has. Voice acting. Every single week, my brother and I will play a game that has a lot of text-based dialogue, and we will act it out with the voices that come up in our heads for the characters you see on screen. Sometimes we will do our best to highlight the drama of the situation, and other times we just goof off to have a good time. Either way, we're sure you'll be entertained. We're on every single Saturday afternoon at about 2 or 2:30 or 3 p.m. Follow us on the Twitter machine at @SteelTwinsAlex to keep up to date on our shenanigans. I think we got a solid foothold for voice acting. It's Saturday afternoons. And don't forget the brother channel, Steel Twins Andy. There, you will get your full fix of Nostalgic Mondays, Nintendo Tuesdays, FPS Wednesdays, Indie Thursdays, Open World Fridays, Legend of Zelda Saturdays, and Metroid Prime Sundays. And by the way, kids, we are on season 20 of voice acting, and we are redoing the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney game. We're using the trilogy version, the remastered trilogy. And Scotty, I think you might like this. We are currently mulling around the possibility of redoing the other two games in the series, Justice for All and Trials and Tribulations. The reason why I mentioned Justice for All, one of your favorite characters may be making a return to the Steel Twins Gaming channel. I'm talking about Franziska von Karma.
Oh, we're talking the
you see his eyes just light up. The dominatrix prosecutor.
The dominatrix prosecutor. It is the most. It's the most hilariously confusing thing. It's just like she is so overly aggressive throughout the whole thing. It's like aggressive. What in hell? She's got a whip and everything. It's insanity.
You talking about my wife?
It's insanity. I watch. I'm like, what in the hell is going on? Like this is the most kinky courtroom I've ever seen in my life. But that's what it was. It's just insanity. But folks, we appreciate you guys joining us. We've been getting a lot of people watching and listening. We got a lot of folks that have been checking us out. You can find you obviously you can join us live. You can join us on Facebook. You can join us here on X. You can join us on Kick. You can join us on Twitch. You can watch us. You can follow us. You can give us a rate. You can find all of the recorded episodes, though, if you do miss us going live here. You can rewatch these episodes that are out there, or you can find us over on
Odyssey,
SoundCloud, Odyssey. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Podcasts.
Damn right.
You can find us on all those platforms, and eventually we're going to be making our way to YouTube here as well. Alex, we're going to be working on getting that set up, so we'll be on the YouTube channel as well. So, folks, you can check it out, have a listen, really enjoy it.
Let me ask you something.
What's that?
Do you think about today?
All the time.
I need all of our people to think about today. Think about today. I'm not talking about yesterday. I'm not talking about today's show. I'm talking about today. A lot of people didn't get today.
Yep.
A lot of people didn't wake up today. A lot of people don't have things today that they're used to, like jobs, like food, like water, clean air. A lot of people don't have that today. So I want you to think about today and what you have today. And understand that even if it all ends tomorrow, at least we have today.
Absolutely. Prophetic
sir.
words. Prophetic words from the Bootleg Bettor.
Or pathetic word.
No, prophetic. I prefer prophetic. We're optimists around here, Boots.
Let's do it.
But folks, I appreciate you guys listening to us. I appreciate everybody that's joined us. It's been a wonderful day. Have a wonderful Saturday, and we will see you next time right here on the Outside Blitz.
I bet you listen again.
And with that, pow, we're gone.
We are muted. Ending screen.